Alright, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Say My Name versus Viper, round of 32 of King of the Desert 4. We are 47 seconds into this game over here. Viper is playing his favorite yellow color on the left as Vikings, and on the right is Say My Name in blue as Franks. So here's the deal. Franks was picked by Say My Name in this draft, but when I joined the lobby, I saw Say My Name with random civilization. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It's possible that the game's indicator freaked out and he actually picked the civ, but it's also possible that he selected his civ and the game decided that he goes crazy and just didn't register that civilization being selected, and in the end he randomed Franks. I'm not sure which happened. I think he just picked it and the game's indicator freaked out, but regardless of that, we're gonna have Say My Name playing as Franks in blue. Massive underdog compared to the Viper. Viper has been pretty active on AoE 4 as well, but he has been grinding AoE 2 as well a tiny bit, probably off stream as well. So I think Viper is gonna be in a good shape for a tournament. Is he gonna be in a good enough shape to beat players like Leary, who has been going full AoE 2? Not so sure, but Say My Name is definitely the underdog of this matchup over here. Looks like we have... hold on. Yeah, it looks like by default there should be no delay, but they are playing with delays over here. So looks like Krazini says that they will correct it for the upcoming games, because so far not a single set in this tournament had spectator delay. That's probably because Mamba likes to see the webcams of the players, and the only way that you can sync it up with the game is if the games go live and there is no spec delay. But the thing is that they went with a spec delay, they will fix that for the next game, but it looks like they won't restart it. Alrighty, so looks like we have free on wood here for Say My Name, good old-fashioned scouts build. Viper is also only free on wood though, that's a little bit unconventional. So in theory, there's a small chance that Viper plays scouts. That would be a little unconventional build, but if you think about it, his scouts will be slightly weaker than the Frankish scouts, but his opponent doesn't have bloodlines, so it's not that big of a difference in late Feudal Age. The thing that you don't like with Vikings in late Feudal Age when you go for a scouts build is that you don't have bloodlines, so civilizations that have bloodlines will have a massive lead in late Feudal when it comes to scout quality. Meanwhile, the Franks will have a slightly smaller lead throughout the entire Feudal Age, but in exchange the Vikings have a better economy plus insanely good spearmen to work with. So I feel like scouts can technically work out for Viper. Not something that I would love to see from him, but considering the fact that he is the massively favored player of this matchup, and he has a very powerful economy with Vikings, it's possible we're going to see something like that from him. Otherwise, I'm not exactly sure why he would go free on wood. His sheep are a little too far away from his TC, so it's possible Say My Name can try to lame them, but Viper reacts and he pulls them closer to the TC for the time being. Looks like we have a fourth villager coming in for Say My Name. He's going up with the good old-fashioned 20-pop scouts. Pretty easy build with the French. Not really a big deal to pull off. Whereas for Viper, this feels like it's 21-pop. It's possible it's a fast man-at-arms build here still. He's now sending villagers to wood. It would be a little surprising to see 21-pop scouts from the Vikings here. That would be a little unconventional. But here it goes, 21-pop feudal for Viper. Say My Name is going to see the wood line. Viper tried to trap that scout in there. Just look at that. The moment he sees the scout, he's like, okay, it's time for me to trap that bad boy out there. It looks like we have Say My Name with 2 wood lines. We haven't talked about the maps just yet, but we have 2 decent wood lines here for Say My Name. His gold is quite open, and in general, his left side is quite open. Viper's base is slightly more defendable. He's got a reasonable gold mine, easy wall off on the left. Right side is a little bit more open, but Viper probably has a slightly safer base. And indeed, this is a fast man-at-arms build. So the idea here for Viper is that in order to go to 1v1-pop men-at-arms, he needs better food income, so he sacrifices 1 lumberjack in Dark Age, and he's just gonna gather the required amount of wood for the barracks using a straggler tree. That's a nice idea from him, not something that we see very regularly, but nice concept. The Vikings don't have any food gathering bonus in Dark Age, so you need to sacrifice 1 villager from wood in order to get a little bit more food so that you can actually get the 21 pop Man-at-Arms build out. 21 pop Man-at-Arms is actually a very nice way to deal with 20 pop scouts, because you see that the feudal age times will be slightly faster for SayMyName, but he still needs to make his stable, which apparently... Is it a stable even? He's mining gold. Yeah, it's gonna be a stable. So the idea here for SayMyName is that it's still better to gather gold than having your villagers idle, so he just gathered a tiny bit of gold until he was ready to build that stable. But you see, by the time that SayMyName gets the first scout out, Viper's already gonna have a Man-at-Arms in, and these guys are absolutely bonkers. You see that these Man-at-Arms are on steroids. Once they get that Man-at-Arms upgrade in, they have insane attack and crazy HP. The next thing that Viper's gonna do is add a Spearman behind. You see that already coming out. And this is going to be difficult to defend against for SayMyName. And it's going to be very, very difficult to clean it up with scouts. Because those Man-at-Arms are so tanky, and they could be supported by also tanky Spearmen. Archer's already on the way for Viper. He's probably going to accompany that Spearman with one Archer already. And you see, look at that Man-at-Arms, 54 HP. That's actually the same HP as a Scout, but they have one extra attack. It's 6 base attack compared to 5. And the Man-at-Arms also have... no armor, just like the Scouts. So basically, the Men-at-Arms trade pretty much one-on-one with the Scouts here for Viper, but they're much better at getting through walls, and Viper is about to push the berries of the Frankish player here. Obviously, that's gonna hurt the eco of the Franks more than any other civilization. Spearman already running through the map here, chased by a lion. But once this Spearman that also has 54 HP comes into battle, this is gonna be insanely difficult cleanup for SayMyName. And remember the fact that behind this one, Viper is going to have 3 wheelbarrows, so he still has a very, very powerful economy. Spearman now in the party, and SayMyName will try to snipe down that Spearman using his villagers and try to jump the Man-at-Arms with his scouts, but this is still an excellent fight for Viper. He's destroying so much value here, and that just buys him time to wall up, and also idles a lot of villagers from SayMyName. In the end, it looks like SayMyName does not lose a single villager, but just look at all the damage that has been done. Viper cleaned up the majority of the scouts and forced a lot of idle time, allowed himself to roll up, and you see, he's going to continue with archers, probably supported by spearmen. This being said, Viper's base is still somewhat open on the left side. In fact, it's quite open on the left and somewhat open in the middle. And Viper doesn't have Horse Collar. He does have Wheelbarrow, he's got Double Bit Axe, but I feel like SayMyName still managed to clean this up nicely. So there's a chance here for SayMyName to get some damage done here on Viper. Viper's gonna need to quick wall his villagers in here. Nice walls out there. One villager is a little exposed though, and the first villager that goes down in this game actually belongs to Viper, I believe. Yep, tried to quick wall, but it didn't work out. SayMyName will lose one scout in the process, but he has to be happy with the fact that he killed a villager here from Viper. Archer range already coming in here for SayMyName, and he's coming for skirms. Once he's got a couple of skirms out, it's going to be difficult for Viper to fight this, as Viper should not lose that villager out there thanks to the close vicinity of that town center. 2 skirms are enough to clean this one up, probably even 1 is enough, but SayMyName has to clean this up because the archers are moving up. Archers currently no fletching, so they're not super dangerous, as SayMyName is trying to jump on those archers, trying to intercept the reinforcements of Viper. Viper is in a bit of a trouble here, because he's going to be facing an army that is going to be difficult for him to fight, and even though he still has the eco advantage thanks to having the wheelbarrow, he won't have horse colors, so his farming eco won't be that amazing going forward into this game, or at least it won't be something that works very well into Castle Age. He's going to have to spend a lot of wood reseeding those farms. Obviously the efficiency is there because he's got wheelbarrow in terms of gathering. It's more about the reseeding problem here. Viper sending in the skirms should be able to clean up the archers, as we have fletching on the way for a yellow player. SayMyName so far isn't sending any skirms forward to snipe those spearmen with though. If SayMyName had just 1 skirm in here, he could already start picking off those spearmen and use those scouts to raid Viper a little bit better. Eco efficiencies are dead even, and it looks like SayMyName is trying to trap this army in here. Nice little maneuver from him. Up. Looks like Viper gets out. He's not gonna get the villager kill though, so SayMyName should be safe here. Meanwhile, for Viper, he's already piling up a decent amount of food, and that's the danger of Vikings here. If you let them boom, they are going to beat you to Castle Age, and now I feel like Viper is gonna be able to stabilize. He's going to wall his base up with the town center. That's a market. He's gonna be able to wall his base up with this market out here, and his gold is a little exposed still, but he's got army to defend it. And you see, SayMyName doesn't really have skirmishers on the battlefield right now. He's just coming out of his base with those skirms, so it's going to take some time until they get here and push Viper. Still, Viper's only on one range, and he only has archers and spearmen. Both of those die to skirmishers. We already have fletching in for SayMyName, and he's going for +1 defense. This exposed gold mine is the target for SayMyName right now, because if he cuts Viper off from gold, that could be pretty concerning for the snake, although there is a backup gold mine here for Viper, so not the end of the world if you lose control over that either. SayMyName has a hole next to his gate. Possible. It's between the barracks and the gate, I believe, indeed. Viper selling his stone to go up. Something that we see more and more often in KOTD is simply because the map is aggressive. You want to build on that power spike, especially with Vikings. You will probably play 1TC University Ballistics style, and you want to grab that handcart as fast as possible, and when you need additional town centers, you will just buy your stone back. Viper does have the hill over here, so he might be able to take this fight. You see that SayMyName needs to focus the spears first, because if he kills the spears, the scouts will have the chance to soak up the arrow fire. Nice micro so far by both sides, but now we do have a hill control here for SayMyName. Spearman just needs to be gotten rid of so much here for SayMyName. Looks like Viper is going to pull a couple of villagers to take this fight. This is great for SayMyName. Viper is going into Castle Age, but his eco is getting torn apart here. And that's going to be a lot of idle time on Viper. Potentially a couple of villagers lost even. That's one villager down, 2 villagers will go down. So all that wheelbarrow advantage is now gone. If Viper loses another villager, that's going to be an absolute dream. For SayMyName, SayMyName is not far away from Castle Age either, and remember that he's got Horse Color, whereas his opponent doesn't, so Viper's farming eco will soon need to be reseeded. You see, many of these farms are like 16 food, 30 food. That's the drawback of not going for Horse Color. Your farming eco is gonna have to be reseeded a lot faster. He's going for Horse Color for the next batch of farms though, and he's gonna have handcart pretty fast. Looks like Viper is going for Knights though. There's a stable out here, and he's getting scaleboarding. He sees that he's up against a lot of skirmishers, so he's gonna start going for a handful of knights. Archers from Viper are on the left side of SayMyName's base, might be able to hit the back of this wood line for now. But Viper is off from his primary gold, he's gonna have to go for a backup gold. Speaking of backup gold, SayMyName does know about that gold mine, he knows exactly Viper can take that. For now, he's just gonna deny the primary gold though. Viper is gonna play a couple of knights as well. Probably he has a couple of scouts in the party, but he's gonna mix in some knights and he's gonna play crossbows. He's waiting patiently. I love this move from Viper. Look at this. He's waiting until he grabs crossbowman and bodkin. He doesn't want to show this just yet. Actually, that's a little surprising. Oh yeah, okay, he's just moving up a tiny bit. But he's gonna have crossbowman and he's gonna jump on that wood line when he has the upgrades. Looks like Viper scouts are coming out. Skirms trying to do as much damage as they can. There are a couple of scouts here as well for SayMyName, but they're heavily battered, and currently Viper is just looking to intercept the reinforcements of skirms. Here come the crossbowmen, and SayMyName might not be looking here. Actually, he does. And he did notice those crossbows arriving. Viper won't be able to pick off a single villager here. That hurts pretty badly for Viper here, as we now have some knights coming in from him as well. I expect double stable knights from our blue player though, so this should be a rather easy cleanup. These crossbows don't even have bodkin arrow for Viper. It is just now finishing. Second TC on the way for SayMyName. So here's the deal. Ecos are basically even, because Viper is behind by 3-4 villagers, but he does have a handcart, whereas on the other side we do have heavy plow for SayMyName. He's gonna have a second town center up rather fast. SayMyName loses the first villager of the game on his side. But now the next step, I believe, for SayMyName is to clean up those isolated groups of crossbows. So just go for 5 knights or so, send them up, and kill those groups of crossbows before they can form a big mass of crossbows. You see, it's now 15, but they're pretty much isolated from each other, so picking off those numbers before they can regroup is something that is very valuable for SayMyName. Grabbing forging and husbandry as well. He's got a lot of food to burn apparently, because he's already gotten +2 defense, can afford +1 attack and even husbandry. That's a nice little pickup for him. Cleans up Viper's crossbows. And here's the deal. Viper is without stone right now. He sold his stone to go up to Castle Age, wasn't really able to capitalize on the Castle Age power spike, so now he has to mine it back to make new TCs. Whereas look at SayMyName. With those long-lasting French farms thanks to Horse Color and now Heavy Plow, he's gonna have a very efficient food economy and he can just boom free TCs. This is looking very, very good for SayMyName. He has the chance to pressure Viper's primary gold, so Viper can't really move out of his base. And also, behind this one, SayMyName is already booming on free TCs. The next thing that you probably need is mangonels, and Viper might be over chopping his wood line here. I think there is an opening here on the right side. Viper realizes that. SayMyName had an opportunity to jump on this wood line, but he couldn't react fast enough. So Viper will be able to reroll this one. Clutch move from Viper there, because 2 or 3 knights on that wood line could have been very, very frustrating. Looks like we have more and more knights coming through, and you see SayMyName is just trying to stretch out Viper's attention, pushing these walls on the left, harassing the stone miners, pushing the walls on the right, and Viper's economy here is going to drop in terms of economy, or in terms of efficiency soon, I believe. Another overchop could happen any moment now. Oh, not yet. Not yet. This is Viper's only legitimate wood income, by the way. That's what SayMyName is going for. He's like, look, this is Viper's only wood income. I pressured that, and Viper is off from wood. Viper is gonna switch into pikemen right now. The house is broken through, so now the knights will have a chance to jump on the stone mine. Viking pikemen will have an insane amount of HP here, and we do have a couple of crossbows for Viper to hold this left side. The knights won't be able to do that much damage there, but they could intercept a couple of crossbows on the right before they regroup with this batch. I feel like SayMyName is playing this game beautifully. Very nice, aggressive gameplay here, but behind this one he's also building up an economy, and it looks like SayMyName is actually in the driver's seat of this one. Quite a decent score lead in here. SayMyName expanding to the north. I still believe that he needs to make sure he doesn't make any critical mistakes, because the thing that often happens is that Viper falls behind, but he's got the skills to come back into those games. I've seen many games like that in the last couple of years. So SayMyName currently has the lead, but he needs to be careful not to let Viper breathe. He just needs to keep applying pressure. He knows exactly that he's 3 TCs, Viper is 1, Viper is sort of low on wood, so this is the moment where you want to be aggressive. Those knights, some of them are quite heavily battered, but overall their condition is around 70% or so. Viper's got a big mass of crossbows though. I think what SayMyName could really use is a couple of mangonels. Viper's got good micro against mangonels, but you also have to keep in mind that, oh, knights swoop in, and that's a great fight for SayMyName. He now needs to disengage. He killed the villagers, don't fight the pikemen that have 66 HP and 1 defense though. This might be a little too much for SayMyName. Is it? It's a decent fight because he's killing a lot of pikemen and villagers, but the crossbows will stay alive. So, now if he could hit this wood line, it's alright. I still think that he lost a lot of numbers, but he killed so many villagers from Viper that it might still be something that justifies all the losses. Viper trying his best to quick wall his lumberjacks, and now we're talking about almost double the eco for SayMyName. I think from this point on, it's all about making sure he doesn't throw away the game, and look at this. Viper is chasing those crossbow, or chasing those knights with the crossbows on the right. The knights could swoop in and hit those villagers on the TC. Viper is gonna quick wall that, but now SayMyName has an insane economy, and from this point on, he can just send wave after wave of knights to destroy Viper's eco. SayMyName coming in with a whopping 5 stable knights build. Talk about that. He's going for monastery, something I appreciate. Picking up relics is extremely important against Viper, because if you don't pick up relics, Viper is gonna pick him up himself. Meanwhile, iron casting on the way. Many of those knights are battered, so you probably wanna get a monk to heal these. Viper, very heavy on stone. I think he wants to go berserks. Yeah, I was just about to say that if SayMyName wins this game, I can already foresee the AoE zone topic, that Viper got rusty because of AoE 4, and, you know... Oh man, this is a beautiful surround here by SayMyName. The thing is that it's not gonna be the best fight ever when he's fighting against pikemen like that, but he's got such a big eco lead that he can afford to take bad fights like this one and still come out victorious, simply because it's gonna be harder for Viper to replenish his army than it is for him. SayMyName selling a lot of wood for gold here. He's playing really well, by the way. I definitely am surprised about how well SayMyName is playing, because he's not really known as a good 1v1 player. He's an excellent team game player, but in 1v1 he's more like top 30 at best, honestly. Like, there's a lot of players I would rank in front of SayMyName when it comes to 1v1 skills. In team games, he's one of the best players out there. I really love how SayMyName plays in team games. That Vietnamese team with like ACCM, Backty, SayMyName, potentially Song Song. In a 4v4 tournament, that team would be absolutely crazy. You see now, Knights are now jumping on the pikeman. Viper is just struggling to reinforce his army now. So you see, it's easier for SayMyName to get more Knights out. And he's just swarming Viper. These are not amazing fights for SayMyName though, so he needs to start thinking about how he's going to deal with those pikemen. But he's grinding down those crossbow numbers. There's a Mangonel coming in. Actually, Scorpion for SayMyName. And Viper's army numbers are just disappearing from the battlefield. Knights coming in on the left side. Viper is going for a castle there. Now, Berserks with Chieftains might actually do the trick when it comes to a straight-up fight, because those are really powerful. And Chieftains is a Castle Age upgrade. So, you could actually do that. But, I mean, SayMyName could react to the Berserks with Throwing Axeman. That would be a pretty nice reaction. Viper is now 2 TCs. He's behind by 30 villagers. Keep in mind, though, that SayMyName needs to finish this game. Because this is often what happens when you're looking at Viper games. He falls behind at the beginning, but then his opponent isn't able to finish him, and Viper will just reboom, and that 30 villager difference will look way worse in the next 5 minutes when SayMyName is gonna be like 120 and Viper is gonna be at 90. So the longer this game goes, the higher the chance of Viper to recover is. Meanwhile, Knight swooping in from the right side. The thing that SayMyName needs to do is use his mobility. The Knights here are pulling all the crossbows and pikemen to the left, so you gotta swoop in from the right side, take down 10 villagers, and that's basically it. Let's see if Viper is going for any Berserks. Looks like not. I don't think that SayMyName should fight this. In fact, what SayMyName needs, I believe, is a castle in the middle of the map. This would control the map, and it looks like he's thinking about a more aggressive castle here. Viper doesn't have a huge army in the middle. Most of Viper's army is on the left, and this is what I love about SayMyName's move here. He's pulling Viper's entire army to the left. Viper's got 32 crossbows, out of which 24 are on the left side, unable to reinforce the battlefield. Looks like SayMyName is going to settle with a more passive castle for now, but with the cheap castles of the Franks, he can go for a second castle almost immediately after. You see, he's already at 130 stone. And what I would love to see after this for him is herbal medicine and garrisoning the Knights inside the castle to heal them up. That would be a very efficient way to retain value for your Knights. And you see, this is the problem for Viper. He's lacking mobility with his army. Looks like he's launching counterattack, and this could do quite a lot of damage here because the eco of SayMyName is wide open here. So we're gonna have to keep monitoring that. 210 stone in the bank for SayMyName, floating a lot of wood. Here come the crossbows. Looking at SayMyName's POV, he doesn't know about it just yet, but he now spots it. He is going to lose Veils. The question is how many. There goes 2, 3, 4. He still has a 40 villagers lead though. And as I said, the next castle for SayMyName is imminent. If he balances his eco, he could get closer and closer to Imperial. But it looks like the second castle will just be made back at home to defend against this one. That's the right decision, I believe. And does Viper see that? That's the question. Because this could be fairly scary here. Crossbows walking all the way into your eco could be a disaster. SayMyName is going to lose Veils on this castle, but the castle goes up and it's going to destroy most of the crossbows. Viper can't see or can't stop the castle. You see, in fact, with that castle being out there, it could just finish off the pikemen and the Knights could jump the crossbows. This actually turns out to be better for SayMyName than it is for Viper. Because Viper killed like 5 or 6 or so villagers, but now the entire army of Viper is caught in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by Knights. Scorpions coming in to support as well. Viper will try to take the best fight possible, but he's about to lose his entire army. And we do have some pikemen and crossbows coming in on the right side as well to raid. A couple of villagers could go down here, but Viper doesn't even notice that the gold mine because his opponent is just forcing him to micro on the left side. Viper is going to lose his entire army here. 150 kills to 80 deaths here for SayMyName, and you see, Viper had this force on the right side. He spotted the gold mine, but he was too busy microing the left. 4 villagers will also get picked off. Viper is at 106 population, SayMyName is at 150, and Viper for now is just going to try to stall this out with the castle. The town center is up for SayMyName, so once again Viper will be just a little too late to the party. By the time he arrives, the TC is up, might be able to take down the pikemen, and the Knights can clean this up. Still no herbal medicine for SayMyName, but now I think it's Imperial Age time for him. Needs to use this TC to Imp. Viper also wants to go Imperial, So that's something that we need to consider. But SayMyName is going to be able to start trapping down production buildings here, or even better, if SayMyName just continues to push with Scorpions and Knights, he could idle this gold mine, and that's a vital gold mine for Viper. Looks like the Knights are retreating, so it's very possible we will have them healed inside the castle. Herbal medicine, please. Wait a minute, do the Franks even have herbal medicine? I need to think about that. SayMyName has one relic. I appreciate how he's gathering those as well. Imperial Age times will be identical. This is one of those stages in the game where the map control is in the favor of SayMyName. He needs to use that, grab this relic. He could not get this relic, and it's unlikely he's gonna get this relic, but he needs to grab at least this one in the middle. Looks like a big group of crossbows are on the right side here for Viper. Viper obviously wants to get these to Arbalests, but ultimately he wants to go Berserks, and he's actually switching into Berserk. And this is the moment where you want Throwing Axemen, honestly, for SayMyName. Because the new Berserks that got buffed with Chieftains, they will shred Cavalry. They were already very, very good against Cavalry before the buff, but with the buff, the new Berserks will just annihilate all the French Cavalry, and that's something that you have to think about when you are SayMyName. And Viper's got decent enough production. 2 castles is not a whole lot. And Viper doesn't have a lot of stone to work with either. But 2 castles is a good starting point to get some Berserks out and stabilize. All Viper wants to do is stabilize right now. You see he's moving out with Berserks on the left side, securing that stone. The key resource right now for Viper is stone. He needs to make sure that he has a consistent stone income so he can make multiple castles for Berserks. If he has no castles, there are no Berserks. No Berserks, he's not gonna stop the Frankish cavalry here. Looks like crossbows are still picking apart villagers here, but it's actually a good thing for SayMyName that he's about to clean this army up just before Viper is an imp, because that means that Viper won't go for the Arbalest upgrade, so Throwing Axemen would work quite nicely. AoE Liga, thank you so much for the raid, I appreciate it. Cavalier on the way. The Berserks will still have lower mobility than the Cavalier will have, so you could just try to go raid Viper's eco. If you run in here with 30 Cavalier, you can shred Viper's entire food eco. Looks like it is just Cavalier right now. There is plate mail coming in for Mr. Viper. Now the thing is that Berserks aren't really good against the castles themselves, because they don't have an insane pierce armor, so the castles will be able to hold off the Berserks quite nicely over here, I believe. Looks like we do have a cleanup here, all the crossbows going down. Those Knights already at +4 defense. Viper never has gotten any upgrades for his crossbows, so the Knights were able to clean this up. Now it's full elite Berserk time. Just look at the quality of those units. Those guys will be absolutely beastly. 14 base damage, 5 melee armor. The problem for Viper right now is production. He only has 2 castles, and those castles also need to go for Krebs at some point. Paladin. Paladin coming in here for SayMyName. That's a very expensive upgrade, and oftentimes it is said that in 1v1 it's not worth to go for Paladin. It's better to have 60-70 Cavaliers for a longer amount of time than getting to Paladin. Now, if you retain these 40 Cavaliers and you can get to Paladin, absolutely amazing for SayMyName. But oftentimes the thing that we are seeing is that we have Paladins in, but you don't have sufficient numbers. Still, Viper's gold mine here is under pressure. SayMyName coming up with another castle. That's going to be a grand total of 5 castles scattered around the map for SayMyName. And the key thing for him is that he needs to keep raiding. Looking at that stone mine on the left, he knows about it, but he never sent a Cavalier there. Instead, he's going for gold. I think he needs to raid the stone mines. He should understand that he needs to take down those castles, because that's the key to victory for Viper. The Berserks are the only chance that Viper has against the soon-to-be Paladin. A couple of Throwing Axemen would help immensely here for SayMyName, and those are actually pretty cost-efficient. You don't need a lot of technologies for Throwing Axemen either, because you're already getting the attack upgrades for your Cavaliers, so all you need is the infantry armor upgrades for the Taxmen. Viper's got 3 castles now, but there is another castle coming in for SayMyName, and the next step for him is to get some traps out. Start shelling these castles. Paladin is in 20 seconds. It is 63 army versus 27. Viper eventually has an army that defeats Paladins, but Viper doesn't have the production right now. So if this was even armies, Viper would still stand a chance. But with such a big army lead for SayMyName, I don't think it's the case. 48 Paladins out. There is Throwing X-Men as well to deal with the Berserks, Scorpions. And you see, Viper is going to clean up all these Paladins on the left side. In fact, he does so with relative ease. He's not even losing a single Berserk in this fight. But now he's getting a castle in his face. Look at all this slaughter, and as I said, Throwing X-Men will perform really well here for SayMyName. That's exactly the type of unit that he wants against the infantry. Viper is losing eco quite rapidly. He's down to 93 villagers. Viper, I'm not sure if he has Chieftains. I think he has gotten Berserker Gang. But Chieftains is a must-have. Chat is saying that he's got it, so I'm gonna believe you. Would be nice if the Capture Age overlay would tell us the status of unique upgrades. And here it goes. SayMyName takes game number 1. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little shocked. First of all, I said that this could be an easy win for Viper. Turns out that SayMyName is playing much stronger than I anticipated. There was no sign of SayMyName being this good in AoE 2 1v1s for the last half a year. This was one of the most convincing games I have seen in 1v1 from SayMyName in my entire career of casting. So, looks like SayMyName might have been very motivated to train, and he probably spent a lot of time going for it. He's a great team game player, but he was never exceptional in 1v1s. I'm looking at the APM graphs because I know you guys like it. Viper with slightly better APM than SayMyName. Of course, Viper still has his wrist issues, so that doesn't help. But SayMyName, he has had Franks, and the key thing was that he was just able to apply so much pressure to Viper throughout the entire game. Okay, what's the over and under on the minutes that it will take for AoE Zone to jump on the topic and say Viper's dynasty is over and he's now an AoE 4 player and an AoE 2 pleb? Because I feel like this wasn't Viper being very bad. It was SayMyName exceeding expectations, like it or not. So, yeah, of course, part of this is that Viper played a lot of AoE 4, so he could have played more AoE 2 to grind for KOTD, but, I mean, we gotta respect his decision that he goes for AoE 4. But SayMyName played really well here. Now, of course, this is where the best of 5 is going to be a problem. And this is something that I talked to Ornlu about yesterday. So a best of 5 actually hurts the underdog players. It hurts players like SayMyName, it hurts players like, I don't know, Zupi against Hera, for example, simply because you need to win 3 games against an elite player. It's just difficult. If these early rounds, like these early single elimination rounds, were best of 3, there would be a much smaller room for error for Viper, for example. Now, the thing is that Viper is only 1 game down, and it's very possible he's going to reverse sweep the entire thing here. So, I have seen Viper losing first games quite a lot of times and then just stomping his opponent. SayMyName has to be happy about this one, though. He has taken the first step towards a massive upset. He has lost his Franks, Vikings are gone for Viper, so both players losing their second overall picks. SayMyName also has Mayans available, which could be very, very good against the Britons. He does have Huns. In fact, I think that I like his civilizations a little bit better, although Vietnamese is something that I love for Viper. Has Viper ever gone out in round of 32? I don't know, but not very recently, so it would be a massive shock if he left the tournament. I still believe that, you know, he's very far from losing in this set. So, Viper is very good when it comes to coming back, when it comes to fighting from behind. I will only discuss the result of this set once we actually have all games played and we have a clear winner, because I feel like up until then, let's just acknowledge the fact that Viper lost this, and we're going into game number 2 knowing that Viper needs a win, because Viper definitely doesn't want to go down 2 games. Yeah, so like, the last time Viper did not get through the round of 16th of a major event, hold on, Liquipedia doesn't even have data on that. So it was a long, long, long time ago. It would be the biggest upset of this year's Age of Empires competitive gameplay to have a Viper exit this early. But of course, as I said, we're very far from that. We're very, very far from that. Looks like... Is the game up, chat? Hold on, I need to check it out. Because we have a link, but it doesn't actually connect to the game, so I wonder if it's just the lobby yet. Yeah, it very much seems like they haven't started the game yet. Meanwhile, I am going to take a look at the AoE zone. This is a difficult matchup because I would also love to see SayMyName winning this. I have nothing against Viper, but you know, as a caster, you always love these underdog stories. The player that no one talks about upsetting the big name. That would be such a cool story. On the other hand, I still believe that Viper's got all the tools he needs to turn this around. So, let's take a look at the... Let's take a look at the civilizations. Ooh. Ooh, there is a topic to talk about after this set. I'm not saying it's juicy drama, it's actually closer to big news from not from me, it's actually related to a player. The reason why I'm not talking about this one is because it is a spoiler to the Cas versus Vivi set, so I don't want to talk about that just now, but after this set we'll talk about that because it's pretty big news for the AoE scene. But as I said, it's related to either Casva or Vivi. All I'm gonna say now, please don't spoil this because, you know, I don't want the YouTube audience to be spoiled on the other one. But basically, it seems like we have the loser of that set retiring from AoE 2. So that's the story. I'm gonna talk about that in greater detail. I just opened up AoE Zone and we have a pretty lengthy post out there. I didn't read it myself, but let's focus on this set. To the north, we are gonna have SayMyName as Indians in blue. Down south, Viper is playing Tatars in yellow. And once again, I feel like SayMyName might have the better civilization here. So, Tatars will have a tough time against Indians, simply because their scouts play or their cavalry play is actually very, very similar. Their cavalry play is better for the Tatars in late game, but in mid game it's quite even. But the thing is that Tatars will struggle quite badly against the camel heavy play here from our blue players. So I kind of feel like the advantage in terms of civilization could be on the side of SayMyName. But what am I looking at? What is this map generation? How is it possible that one of the players has a wood line like this? This is the closest wood line you can work with. No reasonable wood line here for SayMyName, an absolutely horrendous map. Viper's map is not that much better either, but at least he has like one legitimate wood line to work with. Gold at the back and Bear is relatively safe, so you can say that, look, at least Viper's got some safe resources, but SayMyName's map is like literal trash. His gold is at the back, but it's impossible to defend this because he would have to wall all the way out here, 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 here. Just too much walling to protect that gold mine. Viper can actually come up with some nice small walls around his base. Neither of the players have good maps, but SayMyName is having a very tough time with that map generation. Looking at the builds, we do have 3 villagers for SayMyName on wood. Viper is going with 4, so there's a chance Viper would go for men-at-arms, because I think he's expecting scouts from SayMyName. In fact, he can see the number of lumberjacks. So with 3 lumberjacks for SayMyName, it is guaranteed that we're going to see scouts, or at least it's very, very likely. So if it's scouts, Viper could potentially go for a men-at-arms build. In fact, he's not even going men-at-arms, he's going to go for a premiled rush. Now, one of the builds that we have seen, like pretty recently, is premiled rush with 2 militias into a men-at-arms play. That can work if you don't lose your 2 initial militias. We'll see if Viper does that. You can read the entire topic on AoE Zone, AoEzone.net. is the place where you can find it, but I'm pretty sure that it's gonna pop up at Reddit as well. But I will talk about that after this set as well, because we're gonna have a break after this set probably, so that's gonna be good for a fill-in content. Okie dokie. So Viper probably knows that his opponent is going scouts here. He's coming in with the militias. He did mine the 10 gold he needs, I believe, so Viper is going to get 3 militias out. So this is just a good old-fashioned pre-milled rush, nothing cheesy, no man-at-arms follow-up. And he's probably going to play Drush into fast archers, something that we have seen more and more in KOTD. So he's not going to go up at like 23, 24 villagers. He's probably going to target 22-ish. With 3 militias, 21 is a little tight. 22 might be legitimate here for Viper. We'll have to see. Here comes the Drush. SayMyName. I don't think that he has scouted the barracks just yet. In fact, he hasn't even spotted Viper. SayMyName has been pushing deer the whole time, and that's the disadvantage that you get when you're pushing deer. You sort of sacrifice your scouting, and you will be completely unaware of the opponent having a barracks and coming in with a Drush. This is going to be a disaster for SayMyName. He's going to try to run away, but that's going to be at least one dead villager. Viper is going to block the Vil, and that's 1 villager down here for SayMyName. He pushed in his deer, which means that he surrendered all his scouting, and he was unaware of the Drush coming. Got completely caught by surprise. And now those militias can harass the heck out of those villagers. Absolute disaster here for SayMyName. He already has a very, very bad wood line to work with. And now the fact that his barracks could be delayed, another villager could go down here if he's not cautious. And even if he gets the barracks up, he's going for a scouts build, but he won't have the wood for this stable. So Viper's Drush here is doing so much, and he's even able to pull away the weak scout. That's a crystal clear textbook execution there for Viper. That Drush is just accomplishing an awful lot. Looks like SayMyName is going to just keep fighting this one. Now he's got the scout with the extra attack, so he should be able to clean this up. But as I said, he's a little low on wood, so his feudal age advantage will just be non-existent, and Viper will just follow this up with spearmen and archers. And look at this, Viper is even blocking the stable foundation. He knows exactly that all he needs to do is just delay those scouts a little longer, because if those scouts pop out early on, then SayMyName could definitely get a couple of villager kills because Viper's eco is wide open, but he's just doing so much damage here. Look at how much time it takes for SayMyName to finish that stable. Absolute disaster for SayMyName. Of course, it doesn't help that SayMyName's wood lines are absolute trash, but still, the fact that Viper was able to do so much with that Drush is absolutely impressive. SayMyName was low on wood, which also means that he can't afford horse color, which is sort of collateral damage here caused by Viper. I like that quite a bit. The fact that you prevent your opponent from grabbing horse color is pretty massive, because this way, the farming economy of SayMyName is going to be much weaker. He's going to need to start dropping farms soon because he's running out of sheep, but he doesn't have horse color yet, and I don't think that he's going to grab it. Viper actually went to feudal age without loom. So, here's the deal. Viper was so confident in his Drush that he went to feudal without loom. Obviously, the idea here is that he went at 23 villagers or so, so if you go for loom, you delay your feudal age time by 25 additional seconds. Whereas if you go without loom, if your opponent is not pushing you, you can get away a little faster and then grab loom once you get to feudal age. We have the scouts coming in now. Viper defending with a lot of spearmen. We'll see if SayMyName can get a villager kill or so. Archers, or soon-to-be archers, coming in by SayMyName. For now, it's going to be skirmishers because he's not on gold. Viper is on gold. And this game starts to look suspiciously like the previous one. Nice quick wall over there by Viper to try and trap those scouts. And here's the deal. Spearmen and archers versus scouts and skirms. Where did I see this one? I have seen it in the first game. The difference is that this time around, SayMyName's economy is much weaker because he did lose a villager, he doesn't have horse color, so unlike Viper, who by the way has horse color, which is pretty rare for a Drush Archer's build, he's gonna have horse color, so his farming eco is going to be a lot better. And we do have a stable coming out for Viper, so he knows exactly that the reaction here from SayMyName will be skirmishers, and he's going to start adding his scouts. So Viper changes things up a tiny bit compared to the previous game. He learned from that one, and he's going to have a much faster addition of cavalry to deal with the skirmishers. SayMyName is poking and probing around. Probably waiting for the skirmishers to arrive so he can pick off the spearmen. Sees the archers for the time being as he's pulling the skirms. One thing that SayMyName does not see, however, is the stable. He has no idea about the stable yet, which means that he's gonna be caught by surprise by the scouts. And you see, Viper is not showing them right now. Viper is just waiting. There's gonna be a blacksmith, and I would think that he's gonna grab either the attack upgrade or the defense upgrade for the scouts before fighting. Now, Viper doesn't have an amazing food eco, so it's not like Viper can spam scouts out very efficiently, whereas on the other side we have 13 on food. For SayMyName, Viper only has 10. Oh, that's a bad fight for SayMyName. He runs into the spearman, and for whatever reason, he's separating his skirms from his scouts, which is a mistake here, because it turns out that Viper could just jump on those skirmishers immediately. Skirms need to focus the spearman here. That's the key thing, because if you focus down the spearman, your scouts can deal with the archers. Scouts now out for Viper. Another spearman goes down, and it will be followed by this guy on the right. And once the spearmen are gone, you can have these scouts jumping on Viper's archers. Viper's army is a lot more expensive than the one from SayMyName, and that's something that needs to be considered, though. You see, in the end, SayMyName gets forced back for the time being. Viper does have no upgrades on his scouts, neither does SayMyName. SayMyName does have fletching on the skirms, but that's basically it. And now Viper, with 10 kills, 7 deaths, or soon to be 10 kills, he's taking over. Looks like that scout is going down. SayMyName is still suffering from that eco deficit that was caused by the drush of Viper. Because if the two economies were even, SayMyName would be able to afford the same production as Viper. Just skirms and scouts should be able to deal with this one. But you see, SayMyName's scout production is very inconsistent. Just suffers too much from that setback that Viper caused. And I feel like Viper is getting ready to snowball this game out of control. We do have archers coming in, harassing that one wood line out there for SayMyName. SayMyName has a weak villager here, and I think Viper is going to pick that off. Oh, that's such a good move from Viper. Look at that. He dives in, snipes the weak villager, disengages. Such a nice little touch there. He's really maximizing his efficiency when it comes to using those scouts. And I feel like SayMyName is just so much on the back foot. Archers and spearmen, or excuse me, a scout coming to the left side. This open map is hurting SayMyName really badly, I believe. He isn't able to roll up and defend against Viper like he could in the previous game, but it's also the fact that he was completely unaware of the drush. And I feel like at this pace, Viper is soon going to take game number 2, because SayMyName's economy is getting torn to shreds. You see, by the time SayMyName cleans up these archers over here, the archers from Viper will cut off the gold miners of SayMyName. Looks like the archers won't even shoot the gold miners for now. They will just run away from the skirms, hoping that the scout reinforcements can deal with the skirms out here. We do have no defense upgrade for either player on their archers. And you see, the scout is pretty heavily damaged, but it's still good to just deliver the damage on the skirmishers. And the key thing for Viper is that his eco behind this one is completely untouched. Viper's got a tiny bit more eco idle time, but the worker efficiency is way better right now for Mr. Viper. 72% versus 59% for Viper and SayMyName. And you see, a lot of these villagers are so weak here. These archers could get picks quite easily. Viper is going into Castle Age, and the natural follow-up to this one, I believe, will be Cav Archers. Indeed, there is the second range coming in. Although he has 2 stables, so Knights could work out perfectly fine here. But I think Viper is going to play Cav Archers. Probably a mix of Knights and Cav Archers could make sense. He could continue to make archers while he's going up, so he's going to have a decent amount of crossbows with Tumbling at the beginning. Or he could decide to just idle his range and wait, pile up some resources so he can afford a consistent Cav Archer and Knight production. He's grabbing scale barding, so there's going to be Knights as well in the party. Looks like SayMyName is still pretty far away from Castle Age, and the biggest problem right now is that his base is wide open, so Viper can really capitalize on that early Castle Age aggression simply because SayMyName has so many exposed resources. Here comes a market to buy some food and go up, but he's gonna be at least 1.5 minutes behind in terms of Castle Age timing, which is obviously far from ideal. Bloodline's on the way for Viper, and once he gets to Castle Age, this is gonna be an extremely difficult game for SayMyName. Here comes Castle Age for SayMyName, but as I said, it's a 2 minutes deficit right now for him against a player that is gonna have knights and cav archers, and the most important thing is that SayMyName's base is open. So this wood line is raidable, this one is flat out denied, and SayMyName's wood income will just disappear soon. Speaking of which, SayMyName has scouted the forest out here at the edge, so he knows about that, but he hasn't taken any of it just yet. Step Lancers. Step Lancers. One knight, one Step Lancer for Viper. Okay, chat. What's the idea with Step Lancers? They are cheaper, right? So that's something. They also have an easier time getting a good surround than just poking down those skirmishers. But knights are more powerful, probably. Misclick? I don't think so. He made 2 Step Lancers. I feel like this is intentional. One thing that this could help with is getting through quick walls. Because while knights can be quick walled out, Step Lancers cannot. Because the Step Lancers will just attack you over the walls. Looks like SayMyName is slowly cleaning up these archers, but as I said, this is not something that he can fight against. Cav archers in here, knights. Viper is not even taking great fights here because he's running into the skirmishers with his CA. But SayMyName is so dead here. He's gonna get up to Castle Age. If he can get a couple of camos out, he might be able to stabilize, actually. Because he's up against full cavalry units, right? So a couple of Indian camos might actually work better than I anticipated. SayMyName is in trouble here, and he's gonna lose eco. He already lost 3 villagers, and there is gonna be more here. But a couple of camos might be able to clean this up. The problem that he's facing is that even if he cleans this up, Viper is already on 3 TCs. So Viper's economy here will be just light years ahead compared to SayMyName's eco. SayMyName might survive, but he won't be in a good position even after that. You see that he still needs the scale barding armor for his camos. He does have bloodlines, as currently he's moving in with a couple of skirms to try and snipe the cav archers. What is Viper up to? Viper is just 3 TCs, cav archers. A large amount of cav archers will be able to deal with the camos here, simply because Viper is going to have the numbers advantage. SayMyName is planning to jump on this army soon. I believe he's waiting for 1 or 2 more camos. But Viper is already in on the right side. Nope, this is not happening for SayMyName. By the time he cleans up the left side, the right side is going to collapse, and you see, the Step Lancers no longer care, neither does this Knight. The Knight is gonna get killed by the camo, but Viper doesn't really care about that. All he cares about is finishing off all those low HP villagers, an absolute smorgasbord for slaughter. Look at all those villagers going down. Viper is gonna have a decisive eco lead here, even if somehow SayMyName cleans this one up. He's basically gonna have no economy, and Viper could just do whatever he wants with the economy advantage that he already has. It's 20 villagers, and Viper's strike back over here is gonna come in swift and convincing. This is why I said that hold on with all those claims that Viper is washed up and he got rusty because of AoE 4. Because what we have seen here from Viper was a crystal clear game. 53 kills, 28 losses. Very, very clean, very nice gameplay from him. The Drush definitely surprised SayMyName, but Viper got so much out of that Drush that SayMyName was set back for a long, long time. Viper beats him to Castle Age, and Viper just snowballs the game with some Cav Archers, Step Lancers, builds up 3 TCs behind this one. Very, very clean game here from Viper. And all that work for SayMyName to win the first game is now gone because Viper has evened it out. So at least SayMyName is not going down 3-0, that's for sure, but if we are seeing the same Viper that we have seen in this game, this could be a short set. Indians are gone now for SayMyName. I'm not gonna lie, SayMyName didn't have a good map, so that's something that needs to be considered, but neither did Viper, so I guess that's even from that perspective. Hold on, I'm checking for Viper drama threads on AoE Zone. No one posted that Viper is washed up yet, so there is that. Anyways, let's see if we have game number 3 up. Looks like that's not the case just yet. After this, we still have 2 more sets. It has been 4 hours of streaming already, and we have 2 more sets coming up. These games are just, like, in general, these sets are very, very long here. So not necessarily ideal, I'm not gonna lie. Alrighty, so I'm gonna take a cup of water and then I'm just gonna get back and get game number 3 going. So hold on for a brief moment while we continue. Looks like they're setting up the next game right now. Looking at the civilizations real quick, we do have Britons, Cumans, Burgundians, Vietnamese for Viper, Berbers, Huns, Mayans, Ethiopians for Mr. Say My Name. Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple of minutes of break, so I'll be right back. And where's that? Not here, but this is what I want. So yeah, be right back. I'm gonna grab some drink, and then we'll continue with game number 3 once they have the game up. Never mind. We have a game starting. We have a game starting, so we're continuing on right where we left off. So, Kumans Huns. Ooh. First time I'm seeing Kumans in this tournament. Down south is Viper in yellow Kumans, and to the north of his base is Say My Name as blue Huns. Interesting. The first thing that stands out to me on this map is how close the players are. You see, the left side of the map is completely barren, basically. Just wood over there. There is one neutral gold out here, but that's basically it. Everything else is situated on the right side of the map, so it's a weird map script to start with. Huns versus Kumans. How do we feel about this one? So let's talk about this civilization matchup real quick. When you have humans, they are very good with early aggression. They still get a discount on their production buildings, although it's not as big as it used to be. Whereas on the other side, Huns will just be the better long-term civilization, probably. Did I speed up, by the way? Are we live? Yeah, we're live. So it is what it is. So let's talk about the maps real quick. It looks like Viper has 2 goats coming in here. Did he lame those? I don't think so. There's 2 over here. There's 2 over here. No, he didn't lame. So those are his own huntables, or excuse me, herdables. So let's look at Mr. Viper's base over here at the back. He's 2 on wood for the time being. That's actually pretty common if you play double town center with Cumans, funnily enough. Now, is it a good idea to play double town center here against Huns? I'm not so sure. Although, Viper's base is not really well defendable. A second TC here on the wood and the gold would pretty much prevent a lot of aggression from happening. So it's not impossible Viper will try to play a double town center build. So, for the time being, it's 2 on wood for Mr. Viper, 3 on wood even for our blue players, so that's probably going to be a scouts build from Say My Name. Pretty standard stuff. With Huns, you probably want to play scouts into cav archers eventually, but we will see if that's indeed the setup for Say My Name. Looks like he's pushing in some ostriches from the north. Neither of the players going on to scout the opponent. It is just pure, standard, and straightforward deer pushing. There is going to be the second boar as well for Mr. Viper. Timing is actually perfect. Look at that. He's going to get that Rhino in just the very moment that the Rhino here is depleted. That's actually perfect timing here for Mr. Viper. There is also the Rhino for our blue player. So, here is how the situation is going right now. We do have SayMyName with the mail coming in. Looking at his map, his gold mine is quite exposed. His berries are alright. Stone, not so great. Wood lines are pretty far apart from town center, rather open right side. Whereas on the north, Viper's base is also quite open, especially on the left side. Not necessarily a fan of either player's bases over here, so not ideal for either of these players. Here comes Viper. He's going up to feudal age at 19 population, sending out the villagers for the lumberjacking. This very much feels like as if this wanted to be a 2TC build. Viper is even mining some stone here, although the fact that he's mining stone here is an indicator that he wants to build a barracks here with this villager. He just sent out the villager and he wants to get that up as soon as possible, but he doesn't have the wood for it. So it's possible that Viper is not going to play 2TCs actually. It's just him delaying his feudal age. Remember, his production buildings are cheaper, so he doesn't need that much wood. That's the reason why he can afford to just keep 2 on wood in Dark Age. He actually returned all the stone. And now we do have 2 villagers out here. Viper is mining stone though. And he's not making a barracks. It is actually a second TC build. I was wrong. I was 100% wrong here. Looks like Viper is up to feudal age. Is this TC coming up here on the right side? This TC on the right side with a bit of a volleying would prevent any kind of archer aggression from happening. You see, this one pretty much controls these 2 choke points. And a forward coming in from SayMyName. Okay, what are we even looking at here? What are we even looking at? That's just so interesting, I must say. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by this game so far. It's because it's very unconventional. So, here's the deal. I think SayMyName might go Man-at-Arms Towers here. Although, he won't have the gold for Man-at-Arms, so it might be Spear and Skirm forward in that case. Indeed, here comes the Spear and Skirm forward. If you don't have gold but you want a tower, you go Spears and Skirms. Now, here's the deal. The key thing when you're doing this is that you have to tower vital resources from Viper. If that doesn't work out, you are just dead. It's not gonna do enough damage to Viper to compensate for the fact that you don't have 2 town centers working for you. Viper has done this build before, and he has actually done this pretty well in one of the previous tournaments. I don't remember which it was, but it was one of the RM tournaments, and he just went double TC play, and the idea was that unless your opponent is doing a lot of damage, your economy is still going to be better, and ultimately you can get to Castle Age, drop a castle, and go for Kipchak. Now, this is not going to be the case here for Viper because his stone is inaccessible. And this could be a problem for Viper. It looks like he also had a villager exposed here that he quick walled in against that scout, so that's not going to help for Viper either, and honestly, this is looking pretty bad for Viper. I'm not going to lie, it's looking pretty bad because he won't be able to counter tower. So all that SayMyName needs to do is just proceed on with towers, make sure that he doesn't lose his skirmishers and spearmen, and yeah. Where's Viper Scout at? Right here. Viper Scout is right here. Spears, skirms out here, and as I said, Viper won't be able to counter tower. He's got stone enough for exactly 1 tower, but if he needs to cancel that and replace it elsewhere, he won't be able to afford it. SayMyName is pushing very, very deep into Viper's base, which I don't like because you see, Viper wants to cut off the escape path. I was suspecting that Viper will try to trap this army in here if the opportunity is given, but that's the beautiful tower for SayMyName. Denies some farming eco, denies the berries. That's exactly the type of tower that SayMyName needs. Viper's gonna have to counter tower that, but Viper won't have the stone to repair that tower. Here comes the counter tower for Viper. The only way Viper is gonna get that tower repaired is if he buys stone for himself. And you see, Viper is free on food, so he's not making villagers on either of his TCs. SayMyName, making vills. Viper tries to trap this force in here, but that's not gonna happen. Looks like the tower goes down, but as I said, if now SayMyName makes another tower here, then there is just no way for Viper to get that counter tower. SayMyName is actually coming in to wall in all those gold mines. Now, one thing that he needs to be careful about, and this is something that I was thinking about just a moment ago, is that Viper is moving out to take that stone. And the thing is that if you let Viper take stone, this build isn't gonna work, because Viper can counter tower, defend with towers, and that's gonna be fine for him. Now, does SayMyName know about that stone? The answer is no. He should suspect it's somewhere around over there, because this is a large unscouted area. But the fact that Viper is allowed to grab stone here is actually a mistake from SayMyName. Looks like the tower is going up here for SayMyName though. The biggest problem right now for Viper is that he doesn't have a good food income to make villagers, but look at this. He's pulling the villagers to wall in the forward. That's such a good move. He realizes that SayMyName doesn't have an army here, so it's gonna be very difficult for SayMyName to prevent this one from being walled in. Oh, that's just such a disappointment there for SayMyName. I mean, he's doing a nice job with the aggression, but is it enough? Right now, the villager count is slightly in the favor of Viper. Viper doesn't have an insane food economy, but in exchange, SayMyName now has a palisaded archer range here. What SayMyName should do is pull 2 wheels and bash through those palisades so he can let his skirms out. Tower coming in here, but you see, SayMyName now sees the counter tower. So this should be the sign for SayMyName that Viper is on stone. Because the only way that Viper can counter tower again is if he's on stone. And now SayMyName's got some of his forces over here that could potentially be stranded inside Viper's base. Are we seeing any kind of other army coming out from SayMyName? Doesn't seem so. So no scouts, no nothing, just spears and skirm forward. There is the blacksmith for fletching. Speaking of fletching, Viper doesn't have that upgrade either. There is an archer range as well for Viper. Now he's able to stabilize a tiny bit so he could start getting his own archers or skirms out, potentially skirms, just to sort of contain this damage. Tower coming in from SayMyName, trying to cut off Viper from his only legitimate wood line right now. Counter tower is on the way for Viper. Imagine that SayMyName saw this. If SayMyName had like 3-5 skirms in here harassing this, Viper wouldn't be able to access stone. And if that's the case, it would be impossible for Viper to counter tower and Viper would just lose this wood line. It's a pretty massive thing that Viper is able to access that stone mine. And a pretty significant problem for SayMyName that he's not denying it. This being said, Viper is still very far from getting a reasonable amount of food here. Viper is very far from getting gold. He's got a 10 villagers lead, but one thing that SayMyName could accomplish here is set back Viper in terms of castle age time. And I think SayMyName is already sending villagers to gold, so SayMyName is going to slowly progress towards castle age. And once he's got castle age, a forward siege workshop could work out very nicely. Free military right now for Viper, but 10 villagers lead, and he's gonna clean this tower up as well. Such a difficult situation for SayMyName to be in, because he's doing all the right moves, but Viper's reactions are swift, and he's just unable to do enough damage here to Viper, I believe. I still think that Viper is in a tough spot, and I don't think that he actually should have the score lead here, but on the other hand, I can see how Viper could stabilize. I have seen Viper doing the exact same thing before. The thing is that the moment that SayMyName stops applying pressure, Viper is going to leverage that villager advantage that he already has. Still, SayMyName is getting close to castle age, so he needs to hold on for a little longer, deny this gold mine, try to be aggressive and harass the additional resources, and try to get to castle age. So, would a ram work for Viper? A Viper, like, the thing is that it's a very, very expensive thing to go for rams here. The thing is, first of all, you need a blacksmith in order to be able to make a siege workshop. Then you need a siege workshop, which is also very expensive, and a ram is also very expensive, and Viper doesn't have gold to work with. So, in theory, ram could help, but you just... Yeah, I think that at this point, Viper just can't access the gold he needs for that ram. Anyways, Castle Age on the way for SayMyName, and even though he wasn't able to kill a lot of villagers from Viper, in fact, Viper killed 2 eco, so he killed the 2 fort villagers, 2 still remain over here, and he's walling in the wood lines, but Viper is the only player that killed a villager in this game. However, we also have to consider that Viper was set back very heavily in Castle Age timing, and when the first knights pop out, this is going to be very, very difficult for Viper to hold, because the knights will be followed up by a siege workshop for mangonels, and that's the main problem that our yellow player will be facing. I think it's a little too greedy to go double TC boom here on such an open and aggressive Arabia, I'm not gonna lie. I love how SayMyName is still trying to just be annoying here, wall in the wood lines, go for towers. Even if this tower doesn't go up, it's forcing Viper to pull all of his villagers to make this tower, just to make sure his farming eco is safe. Look at Viper's pace. It's just so weird. There is a barracks coming in now to try and defend against the scouts, but SayMyName has quite a lot of spears, or I'm also getting tired now. So all the skirmishers should be able to pick off the spearmen without any major issues. There come the knights, and there's the forward siege workshop. This is gonna be a difficult hold for Viper. Not only because he's still in feudal age, it's because he's very far from castle. He's got a pretty decent eco lead now, it's 26 villagers, although he still needs to get up to castle age himself. But the big deal is that he's just very far from castle, and the Viper still doesn't have gold income. You see, he's just now moving out towards this gold mine, so it's gonna take a lot of time to get castle age. Knights are now in. Viper's got some spears out, but that's basically it. They will all get cleaned up, and now Viper will start losing those villagers inside the tower. I just don't see a way back here for Viper. I feel like by the time he gets to castle age, the game will just snowball out of control too much, and you see that there's a battering ram already coming in. That ram is going to start knocking down that barracks, so Viper's production is going to disappear. SayMyName will once again grab a lead here. Not gonna lie, I don't like the double TC build here. It's, I think, a little too greedy. Maybe if the players were a little further apart, this would work out. But with such a close vicinity to your opponent, and a pretty decent reaction from SayMyName as well with the spear and skirm forward, it's not possible for Viper to pull this off. He has a massive eco lead, but he's just so far behind in terms of castle age timing. He still needs to get a lot of resources and then get up to castle age. And behind this one, his opponent is already getting battering rams out. I would love to see this archer range being freed up so you can actually use it to get some archers or crossbows or skirms out. Not sure what to say, because I don't think that this was an execution problem for Viper. This was just a strategy that's not supposed to work on such an open Arabia. That's the sheer and cold hard truth here. There goes the stable, and the thing is that Viper's gonna lose those buildings really fast. So he's not gonna have production buildings even if he gets up to castle age. Skirms, very nice position for them over here, just so that they can be annoying on the farmers. Eco efficiency is also much better for SayMyName. So yeah, Viper's got 80 villagers, SayMyName only has 50, but SayMyName has 80% eco efficiency and Viper only has 50. So with those knights getting +2 defense soon, I believe SayMyName can soon start committing against town centers. The only thing that SayMyName really needs is scorpions or mangonels here to try and destroy those spears. So, ram push now coming in through the middle. On the right side, we do have a battering ram as well. It's supposed to take down the blacksmith, and that's a good thing if you destroy the blacksmith, because that will prevent Viper from grabbing upgrades to his units in castle age. He already has the feudal age melee defense and attack upgrades for the spearman. SayMyName is still behind by 20 villagers, but look at that. That stone is what he needs. The castle drop. And I think that's the best way that he could potentially finish this game. Because oftentimes what you see is that the Kuman player can somehow stall out the Knights and Ram push or Knights and Mangonel push and then leverage that eco advantage. Because if Viper gets to Castle Age and this push doesn't work out for SayMyName, suddenly Viper is ahead by 20 villagers and also in Castle Age. On the other hand, if SayMyName drops a castle in the face of Viper, then that's going to get rid of at least one town center, so a lot of eco here for Viper could go down. Looks like SayMyName is actually going for a TC instead of a castle here on the front. Interesting. I feel like when you're playing this, you're supposed to just go super aggressive and just destroy the Kumans before they can really leverage that eco advantage that they have. Viper pulling villagers to take down the Rams. But for the time being, it looks like SayMyName is forced back. He's waiting for +2 defense, so he can actually fight close to the town center. But I feel like he's giving a lot of time here for Viper. Here come the Knights though, and the mobility isn't really there for Viper. So you see, he's forced to chase with the Spearman. Looks like the quick walls are nice. And that's a lot of Spearmen, or soon-to-be Pikemen that Viper has. That's gonna be 16 Pikemen. SayMyName will need something, like a couple of Cav Archers would be helpful, or maybe even just crossbows. Here come the Rams though, they're about to start pushing the TC. You see, SayMyName has a villager behind to try and repair the Rams, but he's not paying attention, he loses the first battering ram over here. Far from ideal. So looking at the ecos right now, SayMyName is behind by 11, but he can afford a castle any moment now. That's the big thing here. That if he gets a castle up, somewhere around over here, that would be massive. But Viper now has his own knights, and I feel like Viper is slowly stabilizing. Could we see Viper swinging this back? There is the castle coming in. It's not going to be the best castle for a map control, but it's going to be good enough to destroy Viper's TC. This castle is horrendous, though. This is horrible. This is not doing anything for SayMyName, and I feel like he's just letting this slip out of his grasp. Because now Viper is stabilizing, and if you give Viper time, he's going to punish you for this one. And this is where things are getting ugly for SayMyName. Looks like the Knights are swooping in from the north. We do have a couple of villagers going down here for SayMyName. His castle here isn't going to do much, although he has villagers on stone, so he can actually follow this up with a second castle. Tarkans would actually be a fun idea because they have building attack bonus, so they could dive in and snipe the TCs. Now there's a lot of pikemen though for Viper, so SayMyName will need something else here, something that deals with pikemen. Probably Cav Archers is the name of the game, but I don't see anything like that. I feel like SayMyName's push here is stalling out quite a bit. This is a problem for him because now if you look at the villager counts, it no longer seems like Viper is behind. Viper seemed like he's just going to die to a Castle Age push by SayMyName, but SayMyName never really managed to make that happen, and now Viper is holding out. And you know what happens when you give Viper time? He's going to punish you quite heavily. Still no answer to the pikeman here, which just buys a lot of time for Viper, who's going for TC number 3. SayMyName is also on 3 TCs, so the villager count will be even now, but I feel like SayMyName missed the golden opportunity to just push the base of Viper. Looks like the monks are here to heal up the damaged knights. That's a nice low touch there by SayMyName. I love that low move here from him. And behind this one, Viper is at 85 villagers, SayMyName at 83. Heavy Plow Boso coming in for Mr. Viper. He's pushing up with the pikemen. The only thing that really doesn't help for Viper right now is that his army is not amazing. Pikeman is nice to deal with knights, but it's not like it can do a lot of damage. And SayMyName with 86 villagers, it's pretty easy to switch into Cav Archers for him. Huns have cheap Cav Archers, he could do 4 or 5 range Cav Archers without any major problems and just pick apart all those pikemen. I still think that SayMyName is ahead, but his lead definitely has gone smaller than it used to be. Looks like the pikes are now in. Viper is trying to do some damage, but as you see, Cav archers are already popping out. Not a huge amount of CA right now, but they do have Botkin Arrow, they do have Bloodlines, so reasonable upgrades on them at least. Cav archers here harassing villagers from inside this little cage. They can't leave because they're surrounded by walls, so I guess they're just gonna pop out in the archer range itself and still shoot at Viper's villagers. Viper is coming in with a couple of knights. He's doing quite a lot of raiding though, and he's slowly swinging the villager count back. Now we do have a pikeman moving in as well. Cav archers increasing in numbers though, and that's something that Viper's gonna have a tough time fighting against, despite the fact that all those knights are now going down. Looks like we actually got 2 conversions here for SayMyName. Pretty beautiful, I must say. And now Viper is expanding towards this gold mine here with that town center. Viper still doesn't have access to this gold mine over here. His primary gold is partially walled in, so it's not an ideal source of gold either. And it looks like SayMyName, for the time being, is going to delete that archer range. He just deleted that range so that the Cav archers can escape here, and he's going to pull them back, regroup. Now, SayMyName's next step is that he needs to be a lot more active with his Cav archers. He has almost enough stone to drop a castle, so he could very well try to drop a castle somewhere around over here if he has the army advantage. Viper going in with a siege workshop, so he's coming in with a couple of mangonels / scorpions to deal with the CA. Castle coming in. That's actually a pretty decent castle for SayMyName. Not something that's a game-winning castle, but that's something that's going to deny a gold mine here and open up Viper's front here. There's a mangonel coming out though. Could Viper destroy the foundation? Nope, no longer the case. And the knights can just jump on that mangonel. That's gonna be a short-lived mango here for the Viper. Looks like SayMyName is not sniping that mangonel. So, castle going up here for SayMyName. That's going to protect that gold mine. Viper still has some gold on the left side, and look at Viper. He's going into Imperial. He's gonna go into Imperial, and that's where things are gonna start getting ugly. Because the moment that Viper goes into Imperial, suddenly those castles mean nothing. Have I mentioned that SayMyName has missed an opportunity to push Viper? Because I think that's the case. Just look at this. Viper is going into Imperial, and I've seen this multiple times from Viper. He takes a lot of damage while he's doing that feudal 2TC boom. But the damage that he takes, if he can stall out that early Castle Age push, will still be insignificant compared to what he gets in the end. His opponent is also going up to Imperial soon, and I still believe that SayMyName should have the lead based on army numbers, but I feel like the longer this game goes, the better it is going to be for Viper. Cav archers now coming in to pursue all those knights. The only positive that I can say here for SayMyName is that he could clean this army up, but Viper is taking into light cav, and I think he could go for Steppe Husbandry. An upgrade that would allow him to just flood cavalry left and right, especially hussars, just go for a massive raid. We do have most of the knights cleaned up here. SayMyName still not going into Imperial though. That's gonna be a costly 2 minutes for him. Herbal medicine coming in for Viper. Something that the SayMyName could have gotten in the previous game. Viper's gonna get that so he can heal up the knights. It actually helps quite a lot. You can heal up your knights at a very, very rapid pace. So that is just immensely helpful. Looks like we have another castle coming in by Viper at the back of his base. Still, SayMyName's army numbers are so decent that they can just run past town centers, start killing villagers beneath, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Get some knights at the back of Viper's base, force Viper to fight right now, because Viper is up to Imperial. There is a ramp push assembled by SayMyName, and this TC is probably going down now. SayMyName has a decent amount of cav archers supporting this one, and he's 2 minutes away from Imperial. So if he takes down this TC, I still believe that he's in a commanding position, but not necessarily the best spot that he has ever been in. As I said, his lead has been shrinking ever since Viper got up to Castle Age, and now those Rams are exposed to the villagers. SayMyName is a little slow to react, so there's a chance he's gonna lose one Ram here. Looks like the Ram still stays alive, but Viper is gonna focus it down with the TC potentially. Looks like the TC goes down, Viper will just jump back into the towers. But this is exactly what SayMyName needs to do here. Force Viper to fight before Viper gets the Imperial Age upgrades in, which, as you see, is coming in. You do have Cavalier with Plate Barding on the way. And SayMyName, if he gets Tumbling and if he gets to Imperial, he still will be in a good position. Because he can start taking down these buildings with traps now. Viper's gonna have an insane amount of melee cavalry, and that's something that SayMyName has to be prepared for. But I think SayMyName might be able to just match Viper's numbers, especially given the fact that Viper's food eco isn't amazing. Viper is losing the right side of his base, so his food eco is going down, which means that flooding cavalry is not really an option anymore for Viper. You see, he's going for a lot of Cavalier. SayMyName will repair for the time being. He could use his Knights to snipe that trap, and he needs to. He needs to snipe one of those traps to buy himself some time on that castle. Looks like Viper is sending all the Cavaliers to the right side to clean up the Cav-Archer aggression. Cavalier on the way for SayMyName as well. No Bracer though, that's a little surprising. He's prioritizing Cavalier over Bracer, and if he went for Cav-Archer with Bracer, he would already melt those Cavalier. Oh man, this is just so tough to call, because from one end, SayMyName should still be in the driver's seat. On the other side though, I still feel like he's not doing the best he can to finish Viper off in this one. Looks like army numbers are still double for SayMyName though, and here he comes with the Knights. The Knights don't have the +4 defense here, but they will still be able to run past the castle and snipe down the Treb. So there goes the Trebuchet, and that's gonna buy a lot of time for SayMyName to keep that castle alive. Cavaliers are now running in though from Viper. All that SayMyName needs, I believe, is Bracer for those Cav Archers. He's bringing in the CA with the Bracer. Should be able to clean this one up without taking considerable losses, as now he's getting traps out. His own traps will have higher accuracy, so that's gonna help quite a bit as well. Viper's food eco is still more promising, but there is a massive value retention advantage when it comes to army. For SayMyName, he's got all the Cav Archers out on the right side, and he's going to take down the majority of those Cavalier. Viper's trying to go for Kipchak, and here comes SayMyName with another raid, trying to get that trap down as well. Ram pushing the town center here for Viper. Those Cavaliers still don't have +4 defense, so they will die quite easily to the castle fire over here, but it still feels like we will have the trap down. So SayMyName keeps his own castle alive. Viper is going to lose the majority of the Cavalier here, and now I feel like SayMyName is in a commanding position. Looks like he's got a rally point of a town center set here, because villagers are moving to this random area. Looks like the trap is shelling this castle now. Viper is going to try to do the same thing. He's got +4 defense, so he can dive in, snipe that trebuchet, and just go on from that point, save that castle for the time being. Cavaliers from SayMyName, though, are now rampaging the eco of the Viper, and at this point, I really feel like Viper is slowly running out of options. He's trying his best to raid his way back into the game, and he's doing a pretty decent job. You see, the villager KD is actually dead even. The problem is that Viper's eco is a lot more exposed than SayMyName's one, although SayMyName didn't notice that he has been losing villagers here for an extended period of time. Not something that he has to be happy about. We got Brandy coming in with the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. We have the Cavalier swooping in, looking to snipe that Trebuchet, and indeed the Trebuchet does go down. So with that, this castle is still safe. Viper is just flooding light cavalry right now. I think SayMyName is missing one big push that just destroys Viper's food eco. Because the moment Viper loses his food eco, he won't be able to flood the light cavalry anymore. Here come the Cav Archers. This is going to be quite a lot of villagers picked off. Villager count is still that even, but there is a massive army numbers advantage for SayMyName. 67 army versus 20. Trebs are now being set up to try and take down that castle. Viper is going for the Kipchak, which in the long run will have a very, very nice effect on the game. So they also retain their value very nicely as Viper is bringing a relic. SayMyName also was active on the map grabbing relics. He is on 3 relics now, whereas Viper will be capped out at maximum of 2. Viper also loses this gold mine, so I feel like at this point the big deal here for SayMyName is that he's got the map control advantage. He just needs to make sure he finishes off Viper, and this is the type of raid that he needs in order to do that. Viper is going for defensive castle over here, but all you gotta do is just grind down Viper's villager numbers, prevent him from spamming all those light cavalry, because that's exactly what he wants to do. Cavalier now swoop in. The Cavalier now have +4 defense. Defense upgrade also coming in for the Cav Archers. Looks like the castle here from Viper is going to go down. He's down to 104 villagers. The castle at the back of Viper's base is actually going up, so he's gonna be safe on this low wood line that he still has. But this castle going down means that this TC is exposed, and I think the next step for SayMyName is to turn this direction. Once these castles are down, SayMyName just needs to start steamrolling these buildings, destroy Viper's food eco, and be done with it. Remember, SayMyName still has a good gold income because he's mining gold from Viper's deposit, and he's also having a pretty decent gold income from free relics. So he's got a way better gold income than Viper. Viper taps out, and SayMyName takes another game here. He is the one that moves into match point. Now this is definitely not something that I would have expected some time ago. I'm not gonna lie, I thought when I looked at this set that this is gonna be 3-0 Viper. But I'm not sure if this is Viper being rusty. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not. I think it's just Viper choosing a strategy that's not supposed to work. It works out in some cases because many opponents fail to close out games, but SayMyName was able to close this game out. He struggled a little bit starting mid-Castle Age or so, but after that, once both players got to Imperial, he was able to keep this castle alive, which was vital, and from this point on he just ground down Viper's economy. Nice game over here. And I think the Cuman's pick is fine. The thing I don't necessarily like with the Cuman's is the 2TC boom. It's something that can work if your opponent doesn't know how to react, but SayMyName went for a very, very nice reaction here and sort of punished Viper for that 2TC boom. So with that, Cuman's and Hans are gone for SayMyName and Viper. Viper still has his first overall pick, which is Britons. He's got Burgundians and Vietnamese. Other side, SayMyName's got Mayans. Here's the deal. You could technically go for Mayans here, because Mayans would be a very good answer to the Britons. It would be a reasonable answer to the Vietnamese. And it would be a solid response to the Burgundians. I think if it's Burgundians, it's going to be probably Custoliers from Viper. I think that given the fact that this is actually a very good matchup for SayMyName's Mayans, I think this is the time to go for it. Don't take it to a decider game if you're SayMyName. Try to pick your best civilization, especially because it's a good counter pick against Britons. Vietnamese, it's a solid civilization against it because Vietnamese will struggle against the egos to a certain extent. Burgundians is something that could be a little tough for Mayans to handle, but that's the best civilization of SayMyName, and I don't think that it's a reasonable thing for him to just play Berbers or Ethiopians and save Mayans in case there is game number 5. Okie dokie. So, let's take a look if we have a game. It looks like that's not the case just yet. Hold on while I go back and look for the next game. Viper is gonna have to play a good strategy here. I'm not gonna lie, because this previous game, it was a somewhat controversial strategy. You can see why this strategy can be problematic. So that's the main thing here. You know why this strategy can be problematic. And SayMyName exploited the weaknesses of this strategy in a very, very nice fashion. That's the most important thing, I believe, here. So, if he goes Mayans, I think the best chance for Viper is Burgundians, honestly. Because the Britons, it's going to be an even trade of archers, or rather even fight of archers. Then Britons will struggle against the mobility of the Eagles. Same thing with Vietnamese. They have elephants against the Eagles, but that's not going to work out because of the mobility problems. Burgundians, on the other hand, they would have Custaliers, so they would be able to fight pretty decently against the Eagles. The problem is not dying to the archers at the beginning. Looks like still no game. I wouldn't be surprised to have a break for the players in here. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to cast the other two sets today, to be honest. There is two more sets, MBL versus Brew and Hera versus Zupi, but these first two sets are so long that I'm just completely exhausted already. So I'm not sure if I can cast 6 more hours to, conclude the day. Which is sad, but it is what it is, right? Was a long stream yesterday. Next week we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all KOTD. So, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, exactly. We didn't expect this series to go into 5 games, and the other thing is that nobody really expected these games to be this long as well, because many games that we have seen today were really long, like 50 minutes in-game time or so, right? So it's not just the fact that we have a lot of games today, it's also the fact that we have very long games going on. So, let's jump into game number 4, and we have a surprising decision over here for SayMyName. He's not popping out his Mayans, instead, it might be part of the mind games, but he's going Berbers. Now, Berbers is actually a decent civilization matchup against the Burgundians, and I did explain my thought process when it comes to picking Mayans, that I think Mayans is the best civ of SayMyName, and Burgundians is the only answer Viper has to it. So maybe SayMyName was like, look, if Viper's only answer to my Mayans is Burgundians, he's gonna pick Burgundians here, because he has to. So I'm gonna pick a civilization that counterpicks his Burgundians, and that's what we're seeing over here with Berbers for SayMyName in blue down south. Viper is going to play yellow Burgundians on the north. Looking at Viper's map real quick, this is a pretty decent one. The gold mine is not so exposed. Stone mines are workable, pretty easily volable map. Whereas on the other side, SayMyName's base is pretty underwhelming. I feel like this is the second game, not straight, but the second game in this set where SayMyName is getting a massive disadvantage from the map. Game number 2, it was something very similar. You see, his gold is nice and the left side is fairly well volable, but there is a pretty big gap on the right side when it comes to volability. Not necessarily a big fan of this one. So, here's the deal. If Viper wins this one, SayMyName is gonna have the better civilization for game number 5. But there's a risk. Having the better civilization is one thing. Being able to win in a game is a different thing, right? So, it's not going to be sufficient just to be like, okay, I am going to pick Mayans in the last game against Britons or Vietnamese, because what happens if his map is horrible? What happens if a Drosher Man-at-Arms opening from Viper just kills 5 villagers? He could have the best civilization out there, yet he could still lose the game. So I'm not necessarily 100% sure that it is a good idea to try and save your best civilization to the last game. It could work out. I can totally see that being a thing. But I could also see this one backfiring pretty badly here for SayMyName. Looks like we got the Viper coming in with a house on the left side of his base. SayMyName with the deer push for the time being. He's got an elephant on the front, but so far we haven't really seen a lot of laming, so I wouldn't be surprised to see no laming in the rest of the series either. Looking at the Viper, he is actively scouting for his opponent. You see, he's searching for SayMyName, whereas for SayMyName, he once again will be a little blind over here. This is something that we have seen from SayMyName a lot. He's just so aggressive pushing the ostriches that he is delaying his scouting so much, and last time that Viper went for a premium Drush, it actually backfired really badly. Where are the dad jokes? Dad jokes come in at random times, random unpredictable times. That's what makes them good. That second elephant is quite heavily delayed here, by the way, for SayMyName. So he is going to consume the passive huntables, so the zebras and the ostriches, before luring in that elephant. Let's see if Viper is going to try to block that villager, because it's a possibility. Looks like he's going to miss the opportunity. Viper is free on wood, so that's probably going to be a scout's build, although he has double bit axe, so that counts as a little bit more of an extra wood income, almost as if there was 4 villagers on wood. Viper was able to harass one of these berry villagers in here, and SayMyName needs to send this lady back home, because Viper will come back for this lady. Loom coming in for SayMyName, as he was also free on wood. That's very likely a scout's build as well from him. We do have Viper. He's not coming back for that villager, which is a little interesting, because this could be a villager that gets picked off. SayMyName going into feudal age at the 19 population, pretty fast feudal. Viper is going at 20 pop, which is pretty standard with Burgundians, because you will get your double bit axe in exchange, so slightly slower feudal age than other civilizations, but you're gonna have a slightly more powerful eco behind this. Woodline on the way for SayMyName. He's gonna have 2 nice little woodlines to work with. He's not really walling himself that much, which means that he's gonna have to have a very consistent production of scouts in order to be able to fight this one. Looks like he's hunting for a villager here, and he could actually disrupt Viper's barracks placement here. That could be a little nice thing. Viper is chopping down the straggler tree. He probably wants to place the barracks right over there, so it's adjacent to the houses. I don't think that SayMyName has spotted that barracks, although he should know it's going to be a scout's play, considering that there is no barracks whatsoever. If this was a Manatar's play, you would already see a barracks up. And if this was a Drush, same thing. In fact, if this was a Drush, you would already see militias out. And SayMyName wants to forward again. Interesting. Viper's only got 1 wood line, and SayMyName knows that, so while I'm not necessarily a massive fan of forwards, this might work out nicely. Think about it this way. If there's a tower coming up here for SayMyName, it's gonna be extremely difficult for Viper to get wood. And you see Stable just now coming in, Spearman already coming out for SayMyName. Spear and Skirm is not something that Viper will be able to fight with scouts only, and Viper, he sees the archer range. He should know it's a forward now, and he needs to be prepared to drop a defensive tower. Spearman out for both sides, but at this point, the key thing for SayMyName is that he just needs Spearman and Skirmisher consistent production. Drop the tower at the back of the wood line, and even if Viper makes a tower and eventually cleans your tower up, the key thing is that you're idling his lumberjacks, whereas your own eco is operational. I love how the villagers here are quick walled on the wood line. Same thing should be the case on the other wood line, just so that Viper can't go for a counterattack with scouts. That's the best thing you can do against the forward, go for a counterattack. Viper coming in here with scouts. This is gonna be a delicate micro over here. Spearmen from both parties are in. Tower versus tower goes up, but remember, Viper is not gonna have wood income, so he won't be able to get a lot of spearmen out anymore. Looks like SayMyName is coming in with more spearmen. The priority for SayMyName is spearman production. He needs those to deal with the scouts. The skirmishers are secondary units over here. You see, it's tower versus tower, but Viper currently has no wood income. So that's already a problem, and look at Viper. He's running out of wood, so he can't really place a lot of farms. Viper is in trouble here, ladies and gentlemen. Viper is in trouble. SayMyName is not sending villagers to stone up until now, so he won't be able to drop a second tower immediately, but Viper's food eco will be disrupted. Viper is in serious trouble. He won't be able to afford making villagers, let alone making scouts. And he's going to launch a counterattack. If SayMyName does just one thing, walling these villagers, he's gonna be fine. Viper now has wood income from the back, that's true, but you see, he can't really afford farms right now. The damage has already been done. Idle town center, idle stable, idle barracks. That's what I was talking about. That, yes, of course now Viper has wood income, but it's a little too late. SayMyName is going to spot the scouts coming in. He needs to react to this one really fast. Wall in his lumberjacks, because Viper's counterattack here could easily retaliate for all the losses that he has taken. There is the first villager going down from SayMyName. There goes the tower from SayMyName. SayMyName is gonna go for a second tower soon, and I think it's gonna be on the farming eco. Viper is gonna fight the spearman and the skirms over here. Nice quick walls from SayMyName. There is, I think, a tile gap here. There's a tile gap. There's a tile gap. There's a tile gap. Viper didn't notice. Viper didn't notice that there is a gap there, so he won't be able to push that wood line either. And I don't think that Viper knows about the stone. He actually does, but the villagers are walled in, so it's not like he can do much. Although there is a hole here as well. There is a hole here. SayMyName has multiple holes on his key resources, so Viper could easily punish that. Looks like Viper is coming back because he needs to clean up those towers. Multiple spearmen are here. Viper is going to pull his villagers to make a tower. Behind this one, Viper's got a lot of TC idle time. So does SayMyName, by the way. So this is still a relatively even game, I would say. Viper does have a Boso, by the way, behind this one, and Horsecolor as well. SayMyName, not a single eco upgrade. Looks like Viper will be able to hold off this tower aggression from SayMyName, though. Villagers jump into the tower, but SayMyName is gonna have to evacuate this. Still, SayMyName is forcing 8-9 villagers to be idled by just using 4, so that's something that you gotta respect. And the fact that Viper's got free on food consistently is a problem for him. You see, now that TC idle time is increasing quite rapidly, and I think SayMyName just needs to make another tower here. Remember that Viper does have stone income from the far left side, so this game is shaping out very similar to the previous game. The only difference is that this time around, Viper only has 1 TC, so it's actually going to be an even weaker economy for Viper. This is a tough one for him. He's got scouts, so he can try to go for a counterattack on the berries or so, but at this point, if SayMyName just produces villagers consistently, he's gonna be all fine. Now, this is not a good thing for SayMyName. TC idle time for him hurts really badly because the whole concept of this build is that he produces villagers consistently and Viper does not, because Viper doesn't have the food to do that. So, him surrendering that much TC idle time is actually a serious problem. Right now, it is 24 seconds TC idle time difference, so that attributes for 1 villager difference, and SayMyName also killed 1 extra, so that's why the 2 villagers are there. And the Viper is pulling villagers to take that tower down. SayMyName is gonna go for another tower over here. Viper will probably not lose a single villager here, though, right? There's a couple of villagers that are fairly weak, though. The skirmishers do not have fletching, so they do very, very minimal damage against those vills. Not really a fan of SayMyName losing that tower that easily. Here comes Viper with the scouts. This wood line is still open. Will Viper ever notice this? It's 100% open in between that straggler tree and the house. It's difficult to spot now that the house is completed, but it was visible before the house was finished. The stone mine is most definitely open as well. Over here as well. That's an opening. That's 100% an opening. SayMyName. SayMyName. Oh, quick wall. It's not open? What? You see that there is a gap in between these. It's elevation, so that should account for a gap. I thought that, like, these hitboxes should be directly adjacent to each other if there is no hole. Looks like Viper isn't going to be able to get in there, though. And we do have another tower coming in by SayMyName. Viper still has wood income from behind, and he's actually piling up a decent amount of food, though. So I feel like this aggression for SayMyName is doing way less than what was done in the previous game. So SayMyName needs to start either killing villagers or idling villagers or something like that, because currently Viper has saved gold income, an operational food economy, and decent wood income. So looks like SayMyName won't be able to break Viper's castle age here. The difference is that Viper is able to access gold, and in the previous game that wasn't the case. So this forward isn't working out that well for SayMyName, and given the fact that Viper has had Boso for a long time, that just puts a dagger even deeper into the body of SayMyName here. Not looking amazing for him, I'm not gonna lie. And that would push us to game number 5. Looking at the left side, the scouts might get intercepted by the skirms and the spears, although if the spears don't turn back, the forward villagers will actually absorb the damage. Castle Age on the way for Viper. I feel like now SayMyName is on a serious timer. So, as things stand, we are gonna have Spearmen and Skirms coming out here. The villagers are still trying to find an angle to get some damage done on Viper's economy, and they're actually finding the appropriate angle. The problem is that this is just a little too late now. Viper is gonna be on probably double stables, and he's just gonna go for knights, and he should be able to afford at least a couple of them, which helps clean this up. So next step for SayMyName, first of all, start rolling up. Second, start adding Spearmen. Third, progress towards Castle Age and try to work towards camels, because Viper's economy is not amazing here. Which means that if SayMyName is able to keep applying pressure, then Viper is going to have a tough time switching into something that deals with camels. And that's what SayMyName has to build on. That he needs to keep applying pressure. Viper is now off from the stone. And Viper wants to play with knights. So the best thing that you can do here is go for your camels. And you need to make sure that you are slowing down Viper to an extent that his knight's play will be delayed. Looks like here come the scouts. This is gonna be a tough fight for SayMyName. I don't think that he's got enough firepower to get this tower up. Scouts now without bloodlines. Remember that Burgundians don't have bloodlines, so these guys only have 45 HP, but they do have +1 defense, and there is gonna be forging as well for Viper. SayMyName retreats. He's 130 away from Castle Age. Looking at his buildings, there is gonna be the second stable, so he is coming out with camels. Viper is gonna drop a second TC. So Viper knows exactly that he won't be able to push SayMyName with the knights against camels. So what he's gonna do is drop a second town center and start pulling ahead in terms of economy. Still, there is a chance for SayMyName to do some damage over here, but only 2 spearmen now, so I think that the safest thing to do for him would be to just pull the villagers back to the tower. Potentially lose this entire army here, but at least keep up the pressure by having villagers over here that could potentially drop a siege workshop in the future. That could be an idea here for Mr. SayMyName. Looking at the tower, it's gonna be warding pretty important here for SayMyName. Second TC up for Viper, but we do have bloodlines coming in. Camels on the way for Mr. SayMyName. Only one stable, though the second stable is just now coming in. There is no overchop on this wood line. There is an opening on this wood line. The stone mine is also open, so a lot of damage potential over here. Now, once the Berber player gets to camel archers, suddenly this is a very, very difficult situation for the Burgundians. But up until then, Viper probably has the initiative, and he's the one that's going to start a fight here, picking up a couple of villagers, and now the camels can't enter! Oh boy! The camels are just not working out here, and that's way too many villagers lost here for SayMyName. Also, Cavalier picking up villagers left and right. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is troublesome for SayMyName. Now, there's another tower coming in, and Viper once again will have a bit of a precarious position when it comes to wood income. And that wood income is going to hurt because you see that many of these farms will soon need reseeding. They're like at 30-40 food level. So Viper's gonna have to relocate his entire wood line, and that could set back his food economy. It's not going to have an immediate effect, it's going to have an effect in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Because that's where Viper is going to start running low on food because of unreseeded farms. Villager is now back in the tower. I really like how SayMyName is applying pressure with this tower still. That's the best thing he can do. Clean up the knights from Viper and now start pushing up. Viper is 5 villagers ahead, but the eco efficiency for Viper is going to start dropping if those camels arrive here and they can start raiding these lumberjacks. There is still the towers that are just hurting Viper's eco so badly. Currently it is double stable camels from Mr. SayMyName. And as things stand, if he takes a direct fight against the Cavaliers, he should still win. He's got very, very cheap camo, so this is also cost efficient for him. He's got +1/+1 and bloodlines. Very decent upgrades out there. And oh boy, that's a disaster for Viper. All that villager advantage will be gone. The villagers tried to move out for the hunt, but this is something that SayMyName knew about the whole time, because he's got a vision here thanks to those buildings. So SayMyName knew exactly that Viper is moving out, and Viper is going to lose a lot of villagers over there. And this raid on the wood line once again is gonna hurt Viper. The problem for Viper will be resource income soon. You see, many of these farms are about to run dry, and replenishing them will be difficult. Looks like this tower is gonna get cleaned up. SayMyName is trying his best to save those forward villas, but at some point they will probably go down to the Cavalier. Yep. SayMyName needs to sacrifice those villas and just retreat for the time being. Still, at this point, Viper is at an 8 villagers advantage, plus he's got Boso for a long, long time. SayMyName has just now gotten that upgrade. But when we look at the unit compositions, we gotta consider that SayMyName has the camos and Viper only has knights. I love how Viper is healing up the knights, he's also getting Sanctity, and he's about to start picking up relics, which is going to buff the Burgundian eco very well. Third stable on the way for Viper. The thing that I'm not satisfied with for SayMyName is numbers. There is double stables for him, but I only see 10th camos right now on the battlefield. And the fact that he's up against Cavaliers doesn't help, because you see that these Cavaliers have 2 extra attack compared to standard Knights, so it helps them deal with camos. Viper is about to drop a castle here, and once we get there, Fusilier could be an option for our yellow player. And the thing is that once we get to Fusilier, it suddenly becomes a very, very difficult situation for SayMyName, mainly because the Fusiliers can charge in and then disengage. Now, Monks could actually handle that early on, but once you have a lot of Fusilier, that suddenly becomes a lot more problematic for SayMyName. Still, his camos are very, very cheap and cost efficient, and that's something that needs to be considered. But behind this one, Viper is pulling ahead more and more in terms of economy. 58 versus 45 is the villager count right now. And you see, SayMyName, he's just yoinking the relic. I love how SayMyName is paying attention to the relics. SayMyName actually has a very similar playstyle in Castle Age than Viper. He loves to play heavy on the eco. He plays multiple town centers in the previous game as well. Likes to play heavy on the relics. That's just something that Viper loves to do as well. It looks like that one converted camo is gonna go down here. Not sure why SayMyName is mixing in cam or knights, because his knights will be inferior compared to the opponent's cavalier. We do have Viper still hunting for relics. He's currently on 2. SayMyName is gonna have 1, potentially 2 over here, so will be rather even relic situation for the 2 players for the time being. Army numbers dead even, but Viper's got a pretty decent villager lead. Keep in mind that the Berber cavalry is cheaper, so that villager lead doesn't necessarily mean that much, but in the long run, obviously, Viper's gonna have the advantage. There is a 3rd TC coming for Viper on the north. There is 2 TCs only left for SayMyName. Multiple monks coming from both sides. Look at the monks just running past each other. It's like, hey, what are you guys doing? We are converting knights to our faith, and you? We're converting camels to our faith. So as things stand, all these blue dots inside Viper's base are just palisade walls, except for this one. This tower is actually denying the stone, which hurts for Viper, because if he wants to get multiple castles for Fusilier, this is the only stone that he can work with. Looks like Viper is swooping him from the left side with the heavy cavalry. SayMyName's cavalry is a bit of an out of position here. Let's take a look at the fight. Close to SayMyName's base though. Viper is splitting his forces, but there is no overchop over there, and now he has just split up his cavalry numbers. Camos will be able to get an excellent fight here for SayMyName. Look at that surround. So many hits delivered on those cavalier. Still, most of them are alive. There is 4 monks here for SayMyName, so Viper will choose to retreat in a different direction. Looks like Viper actually pulls away 1 cavalier to snipe a villager. Nice little value there for him. As the knights and camos do catch up, SayMyName should have no trouble cleaning this up. But there is more cavalier here from Viper. And for whatever weird reason, SayMyName is making more and more knights. That's just a bad thing to do. Your knights are weaker than the opponent's cavalier, so you gotta go full camels here, just so that you can fight off the cavalier. Currently it's 17 knights, 11 camels, and that might be a horrible decision from SayMyName. Viper wants to push that dagger as deep as possible. Here comes the forward castle, and if that castle goes up, I think SayMyName is dead. The monks here at the back of SayMyName's army are actually doing some work healing, but I don't think that they actually get a lot of conversions. Still, SayMyName has got quite a lot of camels here. He has the potential to reinforce this battle quite easily from the stables. TC fire helps as well, and Viper's army gets swept from the battlefield. Still, we have to keep in mind that Viper is now ahead by a massive margin in terms of villagers, and he's slowly grinding down the defenses of SayMyName, I believe. 17 villagers killed, only 7 lost, and this is just growing and growing. For whatever reason, SayMyName is going very heavy on the knights. I don't think that's a good decision, because one of the problems that he has right now is that he's low on resources. So you gotta make sure that whatever you're making is as resource efficient as possible, and in these fights, the camels will be more resource efficient against the cavalier than the knights will be. First castle up for Viper to protect the front of his base, and now we are seeing multiple barracks coming in, probably for pikemen. I think Viper is gonna have this game. Because now SayMyName has got a lot of TC idle time. He's falling behind in terms of economy. And we could go into a decider game. And I asked you the question before this game. Is this a wise choice for SayMyName to save a civilization for game number 5, assuming he loses here? Or he should go for his best civ? One thing is sure, he's gonna have the civilization advantage for game number 5. And he actually made this game very, very competitive as well. But he has given another chance to Viper, and that's the thing. This is, by the way, the reason why I said that best of 5s are very, very punishing for underdog players. Simply because you need to win 3 games against an elite player, and that's so difficult. If this was a best of 3, SayMyName would have already won, right? But it's a best of 5, so you really gotta be very consistent beating that pro player in order to pull the upset. Now, of course, for Viper fans, that's a good news because, you know, Viper might not get upset after all. But I feel like the thing is that when you put up weaker players, like much weaker players, or at least if you look at the players, you say, hey, based on recent performances, this player is supposed to be much weaker than the other. You put up a matchup like that, you probably want to have best of 3s if you want to have any kind of upset potential. Otherwise, it is favoring the stronger player by quite a bit. Viper was a little rusty today, so part of the reason why we're seeing a 2-1 scoreline for SayMyName is because of that. But now it feels like SayMyName is just going to fall behind an eco so much. Viper is switching to Pikeman, and the thing is that SayMyName is trying his best to raid, but Viper is doing it much more effectively now. You see that Villager KD is always in the favor of Viper. Even though there is raids coming in as well from SayMyName, those Cavaliers are just doing a lot more. And at the end of the day, Mr. Viper now has a 40 villagers lead. He's gonna lose a couple of villagers himself, but now he's got pikemen, so he can slowly grind down the army of SayMyName here. The pikemen do have +2 defense, +1 attack, so very, very good upgrades on those pikemen. And yeah, I think at this point, it's 85 population against 127. You can soon count this in for Viper. Still, regardless of the result, by the way, SayMyName is playing insanely well. He's up against the top Age of Empires player, and yes, Viper didn't spend that much time on AoE 2 recently, but he's up against one of the best, if not the best, Age of Empires 2 players ever. So, it's obviously a tough matchup for him, and he's so far putting up a very, very decent performance. Looks like Viper wants a cast on the right side, but that's going to be partially denied by Mr. SayMyName. But once we have some pikemen out, SayMyName will struggle against that quite badly. And you see, SayMyName taps out, Viper evens it out. SayMyName took a bit of a gamble not going for his best civilization for game number 4. Now he's got a civilization advantage, I believe, if we go back to the civs. Berbers are gone for SayMyName, and Burgundian's gone for Viper. No matter what, this will be Mayans, I believe. This is a must pick at this point. The question is, what can Viper do against Mayans with Vietnamese or Britons? Because if you think about it, both of those civilizations have something. So Briton swordsmen or Vietnamese elephants can work against eagles, but they won't have the mobility. The cold hard truth is that Viper doesn't have a civilization that counters the eagle warrior as well. At least not on an open map. And this is what SayMyName has to build his strategy on. On the other hand, keep in mind that civilization advantage is one thing, winning a game is different. I wouldn't be surprised to see Viper coming in for a lame now, because you need to make sure that SayMyName is playing from a deficit. If this is an even game, based on how well SayMyName has been playing today, I think the civilization advantage could win him the game. But if SayMyName is playing from a deficit, like we have seen in game number 2 where he got drushed, or he's playing from deficit because he loses a huntable like an elephant, suddenly it's a completely different scenario. So that's what Viper has to build on. Vietnamese, you would see the starting town center of your opponent, so you know exactly where to go to lane. I think that's what Viper has to do. Also, Vietnamese, I think, have a slightly better chance of beating Mayans using Rattan Archers. The Britons just have nothing against Mayans, really. So, looks like we don't have the game up just yet. Game number 5 coming in. I honestly did not think that this set goes into game number 5, and whatever happens, this is an exceptional performance from SayMyName. Because not only he is tying up Viper after 4 games, he also played well. It's not like he is winning because he's lucky. It's not like he's winning because Viper is playing very bad. It's winning because he's playing well as well. Not super clean all the time, but he's got good moves. You see, the Huns game was very nice, the aggression worked out nicely. Even this game, the aggression was nice. It's just Viper's defense that was slightly better than the previous game that allowed Viper to get to Castle Age and start snowballing the game from that point on. But if you think back on any games that SayMyName played, he was rather competitive. The only game where it was a little underwhelming was the game where he got drushed, which was game number 2. Game number 1, game number 3, and even this game number 4, SayMyName was very, very competitive in this set. So, as I said, likely Vietnamese versus Mayans over here. Ethiopians can in theory work out for SayMyName, but come on, Mayans are almost always banned. So there is a reason why. And that was the first overall pick for SayMyName. If he goes anything other than Mayans, like Ethiopians for example, then it's a mistake, I believe. Should SayMyName go to more meta, having the slight civilization advantage, or try to make the game more massive with towers like he has done in the last couple of games? I think it should go meta. Because from what I have seen him playing meta, he actually played well. If he doesn't have to play from a disadvantage, like getting drushed and losing villagers and wood lines to it, then he's able to match Viper's skill more or less. And I think, as I said, SayMyName is playing well enough to have Mayans win the game for him. Whereas if he goes for towers and something cheesy like that, there's always that risk that it just fails. Like in this game, for example, towers stall out at some point, your opponent gets to Castle Age, he can start booming, and then you just fall behind and never recover. I don't think that going forward is actually a legitimate idea here for SayMyName. Alrighty, so game number 5 is a decider game between SayMyName and TheViper. Turns out that this set is actually one of the best that we have seen in entire KOTD. Britons is the pick for Viper, and Mayans for SayMyName. Welcome to Arabia. Down south it is SayMyName in blue, and to the north it is Viper as yellow. And honestly, as much as SayMyName got screwed over by some of the map generations previously, because I think he had map disadvantage in at least 1, potentially 2 games, this map is actually perfect for what he wants to play here. Very well defendable, and that's exactly what you want with Mayans. You want to play a long game, and you want to get to Ego Warriors and just raid your opponent to death. You see, if you look at SayMyName, he's got a beautiful back gold over here, easy wall off on the right side. The stones aren't great, so plumed archers will be a little bit more difficult to get to, but you see, you wall off the right side easily, left side is wallable, there's a tile gap here that he needs to consider. And he's got a back gold mine, back wood line. This is an absolute dream of a map for SayMyName. He's got every single thing that he needs for this game. It's all about him finishing this set. He's got a perfect map, the best civilization matchup that he can possibly hope for in a decider game. So, yeah, it now just comes down to execution. Looking at Viper, he is situated on the north, and oh, SayMyName is coming in with the lame. Gotta love that. The thing is that laming herdables from a British player is even better than laming it from any other player, simply because the British have their eco bonus based on the sheep. Is SayMyName gonna go for the lame on the rhino as well? He can do it because he can heal the ego back up. And you see, Viper is probably distracted looking for his sheep. This could be so good for SayMyName. Viper is missing out on the sheep. Viper sees the boar, so he's gonna have to turn back. Oh my goodness, Viper could be down a rhino and 2 sheep in a decider game. Unbelievable. Like, this is a must-win now for SayMyName. He's got every single thing lining up for him. I don't know if I've ever seen such a big advantage for a player. The perfect map. The perfect civilization matchup. Down 2 sheep as Britons. Down 1 rhino as well. And Viper is looking for SayMyName apparently, but he just can't find him. He can't find him. SayMyName's Rhino here on the front is still exposed. That's the only positive thing I can say here for Viper. Viper could still counter-lane him. That's something that needs to be considered. So I think next step for SayMyName is to lure in that Rhino as fast as possible. Because if he doesn't do that, Viper can still go for the counter lane. Looks like Viper is coming in. And SayMyName's Scout is very, very weak right now. So he wouldn't be able to stop Viper's lane here. That's something that you need to consider. Here comes a Viper. This Rhino at the back is impossible to lane. This one is actually very possible to be taken. And now Viper is going to find his opponent's base. Viper is in trouble here. Viper is in serious trouble. Looks like SayMyName is not gonna take his Rhino. Everything just lining up against Viper, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, I don't envy him because this is just the worst possible start that he can ask for. In theory, he can still lane this Rhino, or at least he can attempt to do it, but this will be difficult. There is an opening on the left side, so technically he can sneak through there. Let's see if Viper pulls the trigger on the lane. Looks like not. Looks like not. He's not pushing deer. He is not laming the Huntable. He's gonna be so low on food. He's going for a barracks, which seems like it's gonna be a drush. But his food eco will be an absolute train wreck. Drushing with a limited amount of sheep. You see, he's almost out of herdables already. It's crazy. He's gonna have to seed so many farms. I think Viper has to play Drush Fast Castle here. Simply because he won't have economy to go up to Feudal Age. SayMyName seems like he's also going for his own Drush. So that's gonna be even in that regard. That I like. Because if you go for your own Drush, you can cancel a Drush like that. And I think SayMyName should know that in such a situation, Viper might need to go for a Fast Castle style build. Simply because he doesn't have the resources to go up to Feudal Age and get upgrades in as well. Look at all that food. And the thing of beauty here with Mayans is that they also have longer lasting resources. So not only did SayMyName take 2 sheep and a Rhino from Viper, he also has these as longer lasting. The amount of food that SayMyName is gonna have is insane. It looks like SayMyName is gonna play Man-at-Arms maybe? Now where is SayMyName's Scout at? He's garrisoned inside the TC, and one thing that I have talked about is that SayMyName got drushed in game number 2. He got surprised about that, lost villagers. Here come the militias. Can SayMyName wall these vills? Or is he gonna try to a drush in a game that he must not lose? Oh my goodness. That's just so sloppy. He has no idea what Viper is doing, and once again he feels to be caught off guard by this drush. This time around he's gonna have militias himself to fight this one, so he could still be able to contain the damage, but once again he's being set back by those militias. Copy-paste the situation from game number 2. Viper was able to harass those villagers so much. SayMyName can't just sit back here. He needs to pull his eagle even though it's damaged and just fight this. Fight this one or wall his villagers in, but do something because Viper is just getting so much value for this drush once again. You see that these villagers are slowly losing HP because Viper is like back and forth, back and forth. Militias are coming out for SayMyName. He probably wants to go for Men-at-Arms. I will be so tilted if SayMyName loses this game. Please don't misunderstand this. It's not like I'm a SayMyName fanboy or I want Viper to lose, but from the advantage that SayMyName has, under no circumstance should he lose this game. Like, at this point, I feel like just pop out the militias. Is it better to wait for Men-at-Arms and lose some of your food or wood eco? Finally, the militias pop out. Oh man. At the end of the day, the eco efficiency didn't drop that much for SayMyName, so I guess he's still gonna be fine. And he still has 3 militias, so the Men-at-Arms might actually be something that you can justify. And considering that he has a lot of food to work with, you could even add the 4th one. I think that's a reasonable idea. Viper walling himself up. He wants to go for a Drush Fast Castle though. SayMyName needs to identify this though. Because if Viper gets to a Drush Fast Castle and he goes crossbowman, SayMyName is in trouble. I think what SayMyName needs to do is just wall up and go for Castle Age himself. He's got so much food to work with here still under the TC. This is enough to go into Castle Age straight away. Alternative is towers, but I feel like this is why I didn't like how SayMyName waited for the Man-at-Arms. Just cancel out those militias. You should know that Viper is going for a Drush FC. Viper is still not in Feudal and SayMyName knows that. Now the houses in Dark Age actually have a very, very low armor in terms of melee, and once you get an archer out to deny the rewalling, this is going to be difficult for Viper to hold. But really, Viper's only chance here is to get the Britain power spike, indeed. Just try to get a couple of crossbowmen out and start killing the eco of SayMyName. SayMyName needs to know that. He needs to play with either defensive towers or walls and just try to progress towards Castle Age as fast as possible. Viper is forced to pull 2 villagers to repair this house, but it's gonna be difficult because Viper's scout is somewhat damaged. There's an archer as well coming in, and the eagle here will try to deny the repairs. Viper will try to trap that eagle. Viper tries to trap that eagle. SayMyName is not noticing. What a blunder once again. What a blunder. Now, the houses here are still pretty weak, so that's something that you have to consider, that the man-at-arms can still bash their way through, but I feel like SayMyName is trying to go for a feudal age aggression, where it's somewhat obvious that he's not going to have the chance to get into Viper's base. Viper is a good enough player to wall him outside, and all he needs to do is just go castle. Please go castle. House is under fire over here. Viper is going to have to commit a lot of resources into adding these houses behind, so there is that advantage at least for SayMyName, and he now is fletching, so those villagers won't live for long. Viper doesn't have the food though. Okay, now Viper is in trouble, because one thing that Viper doesn't have is the food income he needs to get to Castle Age. This is how much setback he is. He has a lot of farms, but remember, he lost a boar and he lost 2 sheep. And I'm not even sure if he pushed in his huntables. This might be Viper's huntables, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it was. I think Viper pushed in his huntables. No, he milled them. He milled the huntables on the right side, but you see, Viper is gonna be so heavily delayed into Castle Age. Those men-at-arms just need to start knocking through those walls even more aggressively. SayMyName needs to mix in a couple of skirmishers to help out. You see, it's very annoying that Viper is picking off those archer reinforcements, nicely done by him. And that forces SayMyName to pay attention to 2 sides. Fletching on the way for Viper, he's trying to pick off the eagle here. Speaking of the eagle, we could see 1 or 2 eagles being added by SayMyName as he breaks through another layer of houses, and now this is going to be very difficult for Viper to hold. He's got a couple of archers. 1 or 2 skirmishers would help immensely here for SayMyName. He's bringing in the archers. SayMyName is buying the food he needs. He's actually going to beat Viper to Castle Age. And if he gets to Castle Age faster, I think what he needs is Eagle Warriors right away. Because Viper is not going to have a big group of crossbows, just a handful of eagles that you can start massing while you're going up to Castle Age could be sufficient to disintegrate Viper. Also, you can sort of force Viper to react by attacking these sides. And this is exactly what SayMyName wants. Just delay Viper as much as possible. In fact, he's beating Viper to Castle Age. We could see the upset of the year, I'm not gonna lie. Because, yes, as I said before, Viper did mostly play AoE 4, he practiced some AoE too, but I think no one on this planet would have said that SayMyName is going to be a 2-2 decider game, and he's gonna have such a big lead. Not just with the civilization, but also with all the extra resources he has gotten from the herdables, from the laming. Still, keep in mind that the effect of that laming is going to be smaller and smaller as we push deeper into the game. So, that's something that you need to consider. Anyways, we do have barracks, 2nd barracks to be precise, coming in for SayMyName. A little late, but still in time, I would say. And looking at the upgrades, he doesn't have scale mail though. That's a problem for SayMyName. It's a massive priority for him to get the defense upgrades as soon as possible. Looks like his army here got intercepted, which is definitely not ideal. Men-at-arms do get picked apart, but at least he knows where the army is coming from, and he's up to Castle Age a little faster. Now, as I said, he's missing the defense upgrade, so it doesn't matter that he's in Castle Age yet. He's cancelling the Eagle Scouts, going for Eagle Warrior. Now he's got the +3 attack in Castle Age on his Eagles immediately, so just getting into Castle Age is enough. Viper is going supplies. And the thing is that supplies can work against the Eagles if the Eagles can't use their mobility. It's all about the raiding potential for Viper. Because the thing is that if SayMyName is able to use the mobility of the Eagles, he can eat Viper's eco. Supplies, Longswordsman works really well against Eagles, but it's all about catching them. And this is why I said that I still prefer the Eagles over the British here, because I know British have good longswords. The problem that they have is that once the Eagles can use their mobility, suddenly things will get pretty ugly. Also, SayMyName has an archer range, so it's not like SayMyName cannot mix in some crossbows to deal with them. Still, if Viper gets to a reasonable amount of longswordsmen, that could be annoying for SayMyName. There's a siege workshop though, so mangonels will start coming in as well, or potentially scorpions at the beginning. Scorpion or Mangonel? Scorpion or Mangonel? Scorpion or Mangonel? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, if SayMyName wants to play this one safe, I think he should start mining stone. Because if SayMyName starts mining stone, he can get to plumed archers. And now, Britons don't have great answers to plumed archers. Aside from onagers, but that's basically it. SayMyName sees the men-at-arms. He should know that Viper is going for supplies swordsman. The problem for Viper is that food eco is still a luxury for him. 13, now it's 16 on food. But he hasn't had a good food eco for a long time, so you see that he's just now grabbing men-at-arms, no long swordsman upgrade, no defense upgrade, no attack upgrades on them. So, with all those upgrades missing, Scorpions will actually perform well, and you see, this is exactly what SayMyName needs to do. Pull Viper's army to the left, push the right side, that's the exact situation that he wants to be in. +2 defense is in for SayMyName, and you just want to make sure that Viper is chasing you, that's the thing. Because the moment Viper is able to force a fight with the long swordsman, suddenly you're in trouble. Viper going for TC number 2 here. He's safe behind walls. SayMyName going for double barracks eagles apparently. Plus siege weapons, battering rams, scorpions coming in. Remember that once you get to like 4 or 5 scorpions, this is going to be difficult for Viper to hold. Especially because the long swordsman can't really snipe these scorpions. And the crossbows will be busy fighting the eagles. Here comes Long Swordsman. Does Viper know about that siege workshop? The answer is no, so this will come as a surprise for him. There is 3 scorpions and a battering ram in there. And once again, look at this. Eagles just trying to raid on this side. Same thing on this side. Stretch out the attention of Viper as much as you can. At some point, Viper is going to miss a hole or Viper's gonna miss a repair, and you will break him with Eagles. SayMyName is doing this perfectly fine. You see Viper is pulling all the forces to the left. This is the moment where you want to run away and try to push in on this side. Very nicely done by SayMyName. He's just tearing apart Viper's attention right now. Still, Viper's defense is cool here. Here come the longswords. And remember that longswords do a lot of damage against buildings, especially if they get arson. But that's a lot of scorpions as well to deal with. And you see, this is not going to be cost efficient for Viper. Plus, of course, the moment he comes in here to fight, eagles can come back and raid. Remember, Viper doesn't have a lot of resources to work with inside his base. This woodline is almost depleted, and then he's gonna have to wall the entire place, unless he wants eagles to jump on him. Nice move from Viper to try and dive in with the crossbows and snipe the scorpions before he would engage with the longswords, but SayMyName is also playing patiently, and that's pretty important here. He is playing this one patiently, just going with more and more scorpions. Viper is on 2 TCs though. And slowly but surely, Viper is going to take over in terms of villager count. I feel like SayMyName needs some sort of initiative here, because he's slowly losing ground. And Viper's swordsman numbers are now pretty impressive. Those swordsmen are still missing any kind of blacksmith upgrade right now, so the scorpions actually do a lot against them. SayMyName, of course, wants to keep this siege workshop alive as much as possible. Looks like the raids are no longer that intense from SayMyName. Viper evens out the villager count right now. SayMyName still just going for eagles and scorpions. That's a big train of scorpions though, and Viper has to be very careful, because the eagles will soak up the majority of the arrow fire, and you see that that many scorpions can just tear apart the crossbows, especially if the long swordsmen are not upgraded with the armor. Looks like now the eagles will just try to flood in. This would be the time, I think. Just knock through that gate and run into Viper's eco. That's what SayMyName needs to do. Doesn't matter that he loses all the eagles. If he runs into Viper's eco and kills 50 vills, no one will care. Scorpions will try to focus down the longswords. Viper's gonna eat a big volley, trying to split away as much as possible. He is taking significant beating, but the crossbows are focusing down these scorpions. Another scorpion pops out. Viper takes this fight, but Viper's upgrades are still missing. Just +1 defense. And the eagles he's fighting is +1, +2. Viper is losing all his longswords, and now those crossbows are just wide open for killing. More scorpions are on the way, and now Viper's base is breached. Could we see the greatest Age of Empires 2 player out there lose in the round of 32 of KOTD 4? That would just be such an upset. Now, I think this was a bit of an overextension here by SayMyName. He was missing the firepower to deal with all those crossbows. Well, one thing is sure, Viper is on the back foot. He is ahead by 2 villagers now, but of course, He's just so cornered inside his own base. SayMyName, however, as I said, he's still missing the initiative. Now he's at 4 barracks, though. He needs a second siege workshop, honestly. Especially because this siege workshop is about to go down. He needs a second siege workshop for more scorpions. Looks like the siege workshop might go down. This is actually a problem for SayMyName. Why do I have a feeling that SayMyName is letting this slip out of his grasp? Scorpions pop out. They need to focus down the swordsman, but this was pretty underwhelming for SayMyName here. He should try to force himself in on the left side or so. He needs to use the mobility of the egos a lot more, because you see, Viper is just trying to take a straight-up fight. There's a siege workshop coming in once again. SayMyName needs to be faster than this. He needs to be a lot more aggressive. Just 3 egos here, 3 egos here, 3 egos here. That's exactly what you want to do, because Viper is now feeling the blood in the water. I think Viper is coming back into this one. And I did ask you in the previous game if it's a wise idea for SayMyName to save his best civilization for the last game. SayMyName was up 1 game, he could have gone Mayans in the previous one, and I think in this one he's just playing a little too safe. Maybe nerves, maybe exhaustion, or maybe just he doesn't believe that he's got the tools to kill Viper here in this final game. He's gonna jump on the crossbows. It's a lot of longswords that he's up against. Longswords still without upgrades though. So this is actually... never mind. Longswords eat the eagles. I thought that the eagles will perform at least moderately well against those longswords, but it looks like SayMyName is getting slaughtered. 61 kills for Viper, 41. And you can quote me on saying that Mayans are supposed to beat the British here on this map. I know that people are always about the supplies, but eagles on such an open map, they need to use their mobility, and SayMyName didn't use that. SayMyName was trying to just push one direction against Viper with the Scorpions. Viper just out-microed him, and now Viper is building up an eco behind this one. And this is what could be the difference maker. And this is usually the difference maker between a good player and a great player like Viper. A great player can finish close games off. And you see, this is what SayMyName is struggling with a lot. Finishing off the close games. I'm not gonna lie, this is looking very rough now for SayMyName. I'm not exactly sure what he could do. Plumed Archers would be the only thing that saves the day for him, because Plumed Archers is not something that the British have good answers to. But you see, now it's a decent amount of crossbows, longswords out there as well. Viper is getting the upgrades, and Viper is pulling ahead in the villager count quite heavily. What is SayMyName's win condition now? Miracle. He lost way too many eagles. Alternatively, raiding. Just raiding. You see, Viper is slowly marching forward, grinding down those buildings. What if SayMyName stonewalls himself and comes back with the eagles to raid? There's so much here to raid. Can Viper catch those eagles if they come in here? No. Viper would start losing villagers, the villager count would remain even, buying time for the Mayan player to go for Plumed Archers. That's not the situation right now. We're seeing Elite Skirms in, but Elite Skirms, they won't perform really well here, simply because the longswords are actually good against the skirms. Scorpions back here for SayMyName. The problem that he's facing is that his eco is now weaker than Viper's one, and Viper is capitalizing on the fact that SayMyName is no longer hitting him. This game could still be evened out by SayMyName, I believe, although it's not gonna help that you're losing skirms like that. Viper going for Monastery will probably start picking up relics as well and healing up his longswordsman. Clock is ticking for SayMyName, and this is not what you want to do with your eagles. That's the problem for SayMyName. This is the problem for the entire game for SayMyName. This, if you do this, what we are seeing right now, just camping on a hill, you're gonna get shredded by longswords and the crossbowmen. You wanna use your mobility. Like, the thing is that SayMyName might be afraid that if he comes in here to raid on the right side, Viper will just go for a direct push, but that's not how you should interpret this. You should try to hold this one with skirms and the Scorpions and just come in for a raid, kill 15-20 villagers. Just look at this. Yeah, I understand people saying that if the Eagles leave, then Viper's gonna level his base. That's absolutely true, but I think the Scorpions and some Stonewalls from the Mayans can slow this down. That's what I was talking about, that you can slow down the longswords because the longswords need to destroy buildings. You can repair buildings, you can wall behind them, whereas the Eagles can just run past the TC and start actually killing the villagers. Viper now with a 17 villagers lead. And the thing that's more concerning for SayMyName is that he doesn't have villagers on stone, so Plumed Archers are just a distant dream. Viper gets a beautiful downhills hit on the skirmishers as well. Viper feels the blood in the water, and I feel like SayMyName, we may have just seen him throw away the biggest lead that he has had for a long, long time. He has had 2 extra sheep, he has had an extra elephant, but first of all, I don't think that the Manatime's opening worked out that well. He has had an advantage into Castle Age as well, but was never really able to use the mobility of those eagles. Crossbows are now in here, but you see all those eagles will go down to longswords. This game is over, and Viper wins. I'm not gonna lie, I think Viper deserves this win, because in the last game he outplayed SayMyName like crazy. And I'm trying not to say throw a lot of times, because that's a little disrespectful to players, but I think this is a throw here from SayMyName. He had everything he needed. Probably the better civilization. A very, very good map to play a defensive and long game. And last but not least, an extra boar. 2 sheep taken away as well. But he never was able to break Viper's defense, and Viper just built on the fact that SayMyName struggled so badly to kill villagers. At the end of the day, SayMyName ends the game with 1 villager killed. That's not how you want to play Mayans against the British. If you want to go Eagles, then you gotta go Eagles with raiding. If you just want to fight straight up, that's Plumed Archer domain. SayMyName could have done that. If SayMyName just goes for, okay, I'm gonna fight here with Eagles and Scorpions, delay Viper, send 8 villagers on stone, make a castle. Plumed Archers are very, very cheap, and Britons struggle against that quite badly. Yeah. Viper actually came in clutch, and this is the thing, as I said, that distinguishes elite players from good players. Elite players can come in with great victories when it matters the most, and that's exactly what we have seen over here. Viper probably put up his best game of the set in the last game. And as I said, this is why it hurts for the underdog players that this is not a best of 3, but a best of 5, because maintaining that level of consistency against an elite player is very, very difficult for 5 games. Credits to SayMyName though, because I've been a little harsh on him in this game for losing with such a big lead. But we also have to give credit to this guy, because this guy is coming up against one of the best Age of Empires players ever. And boy oh boy did this guy deliver. Very, very close set. I thought this is gonna be a 3-0 sweep to Viper. And SayMyName put up a very good fight. And it wasn't just Viper playing bad, in fact Viper was playing good. It was SayMyName also playing well. I think the biggest problem for SayMyName was certain decisions. And that could be tournament pressure, that could be just exhaustion. It's very, very late in Vietnam as well. We have to consider that SayMyName is not used to playing. This is like, what, 4 AM or so in Vietnam, so not necessarily ideal there either. In the end, Viper takes the win. But I have to say that Viper will need to fix some things here for the upcoming rounds, because SayMyName was not considered a very, very tough opponent for him before the tournament. And if he gets someone like, I don't know, Lyria, for example, he needs to perform better in order to be able to beat that player. Congratulations to Viper for moving on, and congratulations for SayMyName for putting up an excellent show here. Massive underdog in this set, and he put it down to the 5th game. Very close games as well. Absolutely amazing performance for SayMyName. So this is one of those won but lost scenarios where he exits the tournament in a round of 32 but doesn't represent the progress that he has made. The progress that he has made is represented by the fact that he was able to take one of the best Age of Empires players ever to game number 5 in a very, very competitive set. So I think we can tip our hats in front of SayMyName as well for his absolutely wonderful performance.